Nigerian workers, NLC expressed shock with such utterance. It stated it is most unthinkable that the government will be contemplating to unilaterally slash the salaries of Nigerian workers at this time. It was with huge shock that we read the statement credited to the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who said that the federal government was working to reduce the high cost of governance by cutting down on the salaries of Nigerian workers. Minister was reported to have said this in Abuja at a policy dialogue on corruption and cost of governance in Nigeria, organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. The minister was also reported to have directed the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission to immediately review the salaries of civil servants and the number of federal agencies in the country. It is most unthinkable that governments will be contemplating to unilaterally slash the salaries of Nigerian workers at this time. The question to ask is, which salary is government planning to slash? It certainly cannot be the meager national minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which right now cannot even buy a bag of rice. The proposed slash in salaries is certainly not targeted at the minimum wage and consequential adjustment in salaries that some Kano state governors are still dragging their feet to pay. It is public knowledge that the multiple devaluation of the naira in a very short time and the prevailing high inflation rate in Nigeria has knocked out the salaries earned by Nigerian workers across board. Nigerian workers are only surviving by hair's breadth. Indeed, Nigerian workers are miracles strutting on two legs. It is therefore extremely horrendous for a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to pronounce salary slash for Nigerian workers at this time. So that's it. This is the first conversation we're having. Manuel, good morning. Great to have you.
Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate if there is such a plan, even to slash workers' salary. Like they asked today, I don't know which salary they are planning to slash. The one that cannot do anything for workers in Nigeria. Even some states are still foot dragging in paying this new minimum wage. And the new minimum wage, what can it fetch from the market for anybody? But that's the one they are planning to slash. I really don't know whether they do not think civil servants are due getting exactly what could keep them going on in this country. Because when you are slashing, have you also thought about slashing political office holders' salaries? Well, I think NLC knows what to do if they should go ahead with that.
All right, got your thoughts there. We also have Precious UDK Esquire. He's a Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner and publicity secretary, Nigerian Bar Association, Port Harcourt branch. Great to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
So what do you think about this here?
I just laughed when you read Ayuba saying that the minister should be called to order before Nigeria is set on fire. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if slashing the salary now would be what would set Nigeria on fire when everything that has happened in this country has not set Nigeria on fire. Well, it's good that Labour is waking up.
It might just be the straw that will break the camel's back.
Hopefully, I pray anyway it doesn't happen. But I'm glad that Labour is waking up. We used to know, while growing up, we used to know a Labour that challenges every action of government that does not go down well with the citizenry, especially fuel hike in commodities and all that. But unfortunately, these days, Labour has gone to sleep and I've been wondering what exactly is the problem. So if it will take the slashing of their salary to make Labour wake up, then so then be it. However, while this particular administration, APC administration at the federal level was coming on board, I read a few things about them saying that the cost of running the government was exorbitant and that they were coming to slash it and heal Nigeria of the afflicted injuries as at the moment. But unfortunately, nothing has changed. Why should we always run to inflict more injuries on the ordinary citizens? Shouldn't we think about slashing the cost of running government? I learned in the budget, only the food for Mr. President is running up to billions. Travel expenses and all that. Why should even the Aso clinic that we budget billions and billions, nobody goes there. So I think it's high time we start thinking about reducing the cost of running government. We start thinking about reducing what goes into the pocket of the senior citizens, I mean the politicians, so that the ordinary people, the hoi polloi, will also not feel so much skimmed out of the process. For me, if the government dares go into reducing or slashing the salary of workers, Let Labour take it up and face them squarely.
All right. Now, this is what I think. I mean, he says that this is in response to what the Minister of Finance has been saying recently, and the fact that it is quoted here that the Finance Minister has asked the. Wait, let me get to the part. She was reported to have had this conversation in Abuja at a policy dialogue on corruption and cost of governance in Nigeria, organized by ICPC. The minister also reported to have directed the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission to immediately review the salaries of civil servants and the number of federal agencies in the country. Now, I don't know whether unilaterally this is what the minister can do. I mean, I'll think that this will be, a policy direction that will come from the president, who will say, well, after consultations with my economic team, we will have to do a review. And that the minister in a meeting or in whatever it is that the ICPC had organized and she was having this conversation cannot immediately ask the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission to start reviewing the salaries of civil servants and the number of federal agencies, especially for an administration that had promised in their first tenure that they will shrink the numbers of federal ministries. And at that point, we saw them actually do something like that, merging a couple of ministries and all of that. Then in the second tenure, now unbundle them again and even introduced a few more. I mean, just the other day, we were talking about another, I don't know if it's a commission now, but it's for small and light weapons. And that is supposed to be domiciled in the office of the National Security Advisor. They're supposed to have offices in the 6th. You're still looking for ways where you're opening bureaucratic offices. And we're wondering why some of these things can be. If you have already an office of the National Security Advisor, why do you need to open another smaller unit that has to deal with this? Because there'll be overhead, there'll be budget, and when we speak of budget, that's the other day here, we're talking about some places that have no business acquiring the monies that were budgeted to them in 2021 budget. The university is supposed to be doing street lights in another state. And then in some places, there were duplications. In the health ministry, they were accused of having over 100 projects that were duplicated. So it's beyond my understanding if the government of the day realizes that, well, we're spending too much on recurrent expenditure and we need to do something about it. And yet they're opening more offices. And then in order to checkmate that, the first thing you want to do is ask the Salaries Commission to start reviewing that what has happened.
The shock absorbers, the civil servants. Let them absorb.
It gets really frustrating because at the point where they think they need to make any changes, it's the ordinary Nigerian first that gets hit.
Exactly.
I've not seen when they say, you know what, all ministers now, we're not giving you money for fuel anymore. All ministers, we're not giving you money for anything, no entertainment. If you can't take that from your salaries, well, that's it. Don't entertain anybody. All ministers, if you need to go to your office, we're all pulling. There'll be one boss that'll pick all ministers from here. I mean, by the time they realize they're just as ordinary citizens as the rest of us, maybe we might begin to get this better.
Very true. I doubt the minister even has the power to unilaterally take that decision.
Well, it is what it is. Labour rejects plans to snatch workers' salaries. Say, hey, Nigeria will burn if you do that. Let's hope the minister understands what that means. Okay. All right, let's move on from that to another story here in the newspaper review segment. And like we said earlier on, check out our post on Facebook, Today95.1 FM, on Twitter, at TodayFM951 for this stories that we have. My bishop ordered me to leave adoration ground for 30 days. Mbaka, spiritual leader of Adoration Ministry, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, while speaking on his whereabouts amidst jubilation of faithful, disclosed that Bishop Callistus Onaga ordered him to leave Adoration Ground, Parish House, and be on silence for 30 days. Mbaka, who regretted that Tuesday's incident was as a result of the refusal of the bishop to listen to him, said that I said so because during the meeting with Bishop and others, I begged them to allow me to attend the No Day Again program. So I would tell my people that we are having a house prayer for 30 days. But they said no. I made another request for them to appoint another priest to celebrate Mass today, but they declined. I appreciate your patience, endurance, incomparable love, unquestionable solidarity, and unique identification and commitment to God in this ministry. God will keep you, bless you, and it will be well with you. You people have been looking for me. Look at me here. I wasn't with my phone because I decided to go in to pray to avoid dissonance at that time. The miracle is that at the time I was with my phone, calls were coming from here and there that you people were heading to Bishop's Court and Cathedral. Immediately, I asked the group that I spoke with to ask you to go back. They insisted that they must see me, otherwise they will not go. I spoke with them on video call, but never knew there were over 47 groups. I thought that having blessed the first group that they have gone, it was at that moment I started receiving calls. I told them I cannot go anywhere unless I hear from my bishop. I thank God you have never attacked the wrong people. The DSS was not involved in what happened, but the bishop gave an order that I should not come here from today. I should leave Adoration House Parish and that there will be no program here for 30 days. And I should stay silent for 30 days. So I'm telling you the truth of what happened. So why am I telling you this? Is that the bishop later came in and asked me to go and tell you people that you're destroying his house and that things are getting worse. I asked him, is that not what I told you people yesterday? So that nobody will accuse the wrong person? Bishop invited me for a meeting and I was going there to meet with my bishop. I never knew I was going to meet with lots of consultants. So when I ended the meeting, I maintained orderliness. When Bishop asked me to go and take you people back to adoration, I asked him what happened now, because you told me that I was going to stay away and silent for 30 days. Then he said I should go first and tell my people to go because things are getting worse. That is why people should understand how God works. I never disobeyed the church. People are busy misquoting me, doing everything to close this ministry, but the grace of God, they cannot do anything. Okay. Bottom line, they asked him to leave adoration ground for 30 days. They said they needed him to go into prayer. And,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know where that other story was now. Is it the Punch? And they said, they're persecuting him because of his position over another person. Like he was supporting another individual. And so this is a way of clamping down on him. But in any case, what we saw here from the Vanguard says the bishop called him and said, look, we need you to stay quiet for 30 days.
Well, for me, I think this is just purely an innovating tirade that should concern the Catholic Church, and especially those of them in the adoration house or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to benefit from this thing, and I don't know what the country stands to benefit from this. But the fact is that they looked for Mbaka, and sometimes they saw him. He came and talked to them. So the stakeholders in the adoration parish should, of course, be concerned about what happened, whether Bishop said this or Bishop didn't say.
Got your thoughts there, Precious UDK?
I think it is just all efforts geared towards taming Mbaka. But I doubt that that will yield the required results. For me, Father Mbaka is a reverend father, and he should be subject to the rules of engagement. I have not been availed of the rules, so I may not appropriately know. But if the bishop has come to say, please, for reasons best known or for reasons that may have been stated and given to him, stay away for 30 days. Don't officiate in the adoration ground. I don't think there's anything anyone should worry about that. It's the internal mechanism, it's the internal wranglings, it's the whatever they need to sort it out. But unfortunately, the country we are, the churchianities, the adherents of the Catholic faith would not agree. And then the people revolted. The bishop was forced to let him out. But for him to be suspended, well, I want to believe that a church should be able to discipline itself or at least regulate its activities. If he's done anything that should work them discipline him, I would not stand in the way, but I'll pray the church to at least do whatever it can to regulate it within the ambit of the extant laws. Thank you.
All right. I think that like both of you have expressed one way or the other. I think it's a business of the Catholic Church. And whether the Catholic Church is doing this because of external influence, I cannot tell. So to the much we know, especially from what Mbaka has said, he said the DSS was not involved. We'll want to just keep it to what the Catholic Church is doing. And I think that it's not the first time Mbaka has found himself on the other side of the divide when it comes to the Catholic Church and how they want to go about with their proceedings. It's not the first time. Yeah. So maybe for some reasons, the Catholic Church, that diocese they must have felt some of embarrassment, maybe, by pronouncements made by Father Mbaka in recent times, or maybe they just felt, we've been trying to regulate your activities and make it more Catholic-like, but somehow you seem, you always seem to stray off. And I don't know. I want to think that for some reasons the Catholic Church felt, let's do things the way we usually would do it. If that is what this is about, then I guess the Catholic Church will find a way to sort itself. If this is not, and there's influence coming from outside quarters causing that the Catholic Church should take this step, it can only make room for more disorderliness. This is what I believe. You're only going to cause and create more havoc. Because if it's a push from outside the church, that means the church initially has no problem with what Father Mbaka is doing.
Exactly.
And you're forcing them to take a certain step. Then that means along the rank and file within the church, you begin to have dissenting voices. There'll be people who will begin to say, no, we can't. We can't have you force us to take a step. And that means you're creating even a worse force in Enugu than what we have now. So if they're external forces, I would think that's the wrong way to go about this completely. And if it's the Catholic Church, well, let the Catholic Church heal itself. What did they say? Something about heal thyself. Emmanuel.
Man, know thyself.
Man, know thyself. Okay. This is a case of man, know thyself. Exactly. It said, my bishop ordered me to leave adoration ground for 30 days, Mbaka. And then you also have State of the Nation. Southern governors reconvene rail against Nigeria's disintegration. Governors in the southern part of the country under the aegis of Southern Nigeria Governors Forum yesterday met to discuss the state of the nation. Although the agenda of the meeting is not immediately known, a source said the governors deliberated on how to stop the country from degenerating into anarchy in view of the high-level insecurity across Nigeria. The virtual meeting, which held on Tuesday evening, was at the instance of the chairman of Southwest Governors Forum, Rotimi Akeredolu, and the chairman of the South-South-Southeast Governors Forum, Ifeanyi Okowa, and David Umahi. Vanguard gathered that 15 out of the 17 governors from the South attended the meeting. They include Ekiti State Governor, who doubles as chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, Nyesom Wike Rivers, Ifeanyi Okowa Delta, David Umahi Ebonyi, Godswill Obaseki Edo, Lolo Cecilia Ezielu, Deputy Governor of Enugu representing the governor. Others are Doyediri Bayelsa, Emmanuel Udom, Akwa Ibom, Okeze Beazu, Abia, Hope Uzodima Imo, Dapo Abiodun Ogun, Boyega Itola, Oshun, Sheyi Makinde Oyo, and Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos. I think the person out here is Calabar, right? We didn't have Cross River.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Akwa Ibom. The Akwa Ibom is there. Anambra. Yeah, those two states were not there. The governors who called for commitment and unity in addressing issues affecting the country, particularly southern Nigeria, stressed the need to put the country first in the face of trying times. While details of the outcome of the meeting were still sketchy at the time of press yesterday, Vanguard was, however, informed that part of the governor's resolution was to meet in Asaba Delta State next week to harmonize positions aimed at dousing the tension in the country. But a source close to the governor said although the meeting was long overdue, the move by the three governors was commendable. Source said the three governors, especially chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, had provided good leadership and direction to the extent that the proper path to confidence building has been laid. It is coming a bit late, but it was largely shown that there are still leaders who think of the nation first before any other. The kernel of the meeting was that Nigeria is too important to let into conflagration. It's a good move, no doubt.
Good move, but I don't see concrete action taken so far.
That's why they'll meet in Anambra.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Now, I think, well, maybe they are just briefing us that they've made a move to douse a conflagration, maybe impending conflagration if nothing is done. But I also believe that when things are supposed to happen, these officials of government, these authorities of government will keep quiet and be looking. As a matter of fact, they'll be moping until it degenerates to maybe a strike will bring conflagration before they come to have such moves. Well, better late than never, they always say. If they think this their meeting, whether in Anambra or anywhere at all, as they go around the south, will now maybe douse the tension. Fine for Nigeria, fine for this entire south. But I am saying let them always be very much on the quiver, finding out exactly that spots that need being tended, so that things will just be flowing seamlessly. But for me, this one, they always come when things are getting out of hand. It's not the best.
All right, got your thoughts there. Precious Udike.
Yes, I think teeing off at this instance will be to thank the governors first. Any effort geared towards maintaining peace in the country must be commended. But then, taking it to further examination, you begin to wonder what really is the cause of the unrest in Nigeria. To me personally, it's just a social injustice from the states to the federal government to everywhere. If most of these genuine concerns raised by the youths and the Nigerians are appropriately addressed, I do not see a couple of these things happening. We have situations where for you to you graduate, nothing comes your way. The only time you make money is when you carry arms against the state, when you carry arms against the government. And the government does not seem to be bothered about the situation. All they are interested in is until it gets to the point where you have decided to engage them beyond, let me use the word, beyond the ability to even curtail the presence. That is when they come to negotiate. You see students crying, nothing happens. You see bursaries, they no longer pay. You go to today as it stands, Juson is on strike, nobody cares. ASU goes on strike, nobody cares. Only the ones they run after, they run about trying to tackle almost immediately are those ones that carry arms against the state. So how would there be peace in the country? Let these governors go back to their respective domains and look at the genuine concerns raised by indigenes of the various states. Let them now harness them, take to the presidency and impress it on the federal government to immediately look into them. The kind of social injustice I've seen in Nigeria, there is nowhere in the world where this kind of social injustice is prevalent and you expect to have peace. As much as I've said before, yes, I commend the governors. It's a step in the right direction. Let me assume that they've woken up. Let me assume that starting from the meeting they've just held, there will be subsequent actions that will be concretely geared towards settling and resolving the problems in Nigeria. But then there must be social justice, because however we look at it, if there is an enabling environment for anybody to do business, a couple of those who take arms against the state would not. If you do the little job you do and you're able to use the resources you generate to feed your family, see how prices are skyrocketing, gazumping at every given instance. People are not happy. That is just the truth. People are not happy. The government needs to retool. If not, what they are trying to tackle may even come to fruition before they know what is happening. Although I pray it doesn't happen, but Nigeria is quickly sliding into the precipice, and something needs to be done, and done urgently.
All right, we've got your thoughts on that. I think that, it's a good thing that the governors came together and had this call. But, for a long time, we've seen northern governors always come together and have conversations like this. So I think that for the southern governors, it took them a long period to realize that they could rally around together and, talk about nationhood. What's the strategy for the South? Because that's what people do. Where it's commonly said that when you fail to plan, you're just planning to fail. And I would think that far more than anything, that the southern governors, as leaders of all parts making the South, are there to see the South survive no matter what, and that there is growth within the southern part of Nigeria. And if they fail to come together on a round table on a frequent basis, then they're not planning properly. They're planning perhaps independently, when we can have all hands in the pie and make sure that we get it right for the best of all of the South region, for all of the South region, I beg your pardon. But, if they've taken this step, I hope we're going to see more of it, and that we'll begin to see more concrete plans that come out from there, followed by the action necessary for it. All right, so moving away from that, it says their State of the Nation, Southern governors reconvene, rail against Nigeria's disintegration. Tension in Abuja over hundreds of migrating herders from Niger Republic. Tension yesterday enveloped communities in Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory's hundreds of nomadic herders crossed Abuja-Kaduna Highway into Sabon Wuse in Niger State to camp, in Niger State, I beg your pardon, to camp there. This development forced some residents of Sabon Wuse, a few kilometers away from Buari area councils, to stay at home in fear of the unknown. It was gathered that some of the herders, comprising men, women, and children who got to the area around 8 a.m., were from the Niger Republic. They were moving with a large flock of animals comprising cows, sheep, donkeys, and camels. A local vigilante leader, Hussein Abubakar, told journalists that on arriving on the highway, the herders made a stopover at Sabo Wuse due to gridlock around the military checkpoint between Diko Junction and the town. They were able to cross the road after a while, and we met them across the road, which is under Tafa local government area where we operate. We engaged some of them to know about their mission. However, from what we gathered, some of them are from the Niger Republic, and they said they were heading to Bauchi State. He added that the herders' efforts to cross the highway, which had worsened the gridlock, and the fact that some were on motorcycles, made many people among the residents and passers-by to be in panic. Also speaking, the chairman of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders, Macban, in the area, Malam Haruna Idris, said there had been a constant movement of nomadic herders for over a month now, with about 500 to 1,000 mixed animals. Every time we asked them about their mission, they answered they were migrating from either Niger, Kebbi, or Zamfara states, heading to Bauchi. And in most cases, they used to pass the night around some nearby rugas, that's herders' settlement, before proceeding with their journey. As at the time of filing this report, the herders had quit their camp in the area to continue their journey to Bauchi by night. Efforts to speak to the FCT police spokesman, ASP Mariam Yusuf, proved abortive as she did not pick up the phone from our correspondent. The phone call from the correspondent. That's the Vanguard now. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts here? I think yesterday we didn't get to talk about it, but in the news, it said that 2 local government areas in Kwara State, stopped the inflow of Fulani headers or Fulani migrants who came in trucks.
Yeah.
And yes, we read something like that, but we didn't, talk about it properly. And they had to turn them back. And they said when they inquired, they said they had documentation that said they could go to Kwara. Mm-hmm. Now, whether
from who?
I don't know, but whether I don't know who gave the document, but whether they were Nigerians or Fulanis from other part of the Sahel region is what we don't understand. And for these local government areas in Kwara State, they turned them back and they said no entry, go back. So these trucks, really big trucks, because I saw the video, turned around with these people. And then now we hear of herders who admitted that, look, we're from Niger Republic. And I'm wondering, how did they come into Nigeria?
That's the big question. But I think there certainly must be a huge...
Because, Emmanuel, I mean, we're talking about camels, sheep, cows, and all these people, some on motorbikes. There's no border that you're crossing through that people would know you're crossing. The community next to the border will know this is happening and will not alert border authorities or people who should know.
Annie, if as we are now, if for instance you are manning a border post and a man Ndukwe is coming, because I know you, you know me, I will pass. You will give me express where I pass. Or you are coming to my own, I give you a pass, you pass. So I don't understand. Well, the Kwara own, they were able to stop it because there's no maybe favorable magnetism in Kwara State. And that magnetism seems to exist in Bauchi
perhaps.
Because they said
they are going to Bauchi.
They are going to Bauchi. They keep on going to Bauchi. And Bauchi itself perhaps is not railing against the actions. So the problem now is that has the federal government not heard about the one we are talking about, porous border. And then you see, when they hinted before that some of these headers are from outside Nigeria, it's very easy to pick up maybe cutlass, those of them that have the heart, to kill a foreigner. If it were in your own place, you may not slaughter your fellow human in that fashion. Who knows whether all these ones from Niger and all the rest of them are the ones slaughtering people without thinking about their humanness and all that. It's unfortunate what we are seeing in this country.
But again, I don't
and
get...
in Abuja,
that's...
they block the express.
Yeah.
Crossing to Bauchi. Well, let's listen to what Bauchi
This is where I'm a bit confused because, if you look at the boundary states around that region, if you say they're coming in from Kaduna, parts of Kaduna, and then and Niger, and then they got to Abuja, and they said they're heading to Bauchi. There was no need for them to come to Abuja.
Okay.
If they're indeed from Niger State, they could cross over to Kaduna. From Kaduna, on the other side is Bauchi. So they could meander and find their way to Bauchi. But I guess because maybe if they're going to find their way to Bauchi, they'll be crossing through the southern part of Kaduna. Maybe this is what they try to avoid. I don't know. I'm just thinking because, I mean, I can see the map. And then if they cross from the bottom.
There could be a human.
If they cross from the bottom, it's the shortest route, really. Because if you come down to Abuja, you get towards Jos Plateau. And then have to navigate all your way back up again to Bauchi. When you could just cut from Niger, Kaduna, you're in Bauchi. And I mean, for headers, we understand that it's not as if you have to use the road. So you say, well, it's the road goes this way. You're cutting through, different terrains, bushes, as it were. So I'm confused why they had to stop over in Abuja first. But then it is what we read in the news.
Yes, for us to see that at least they are from Niger Republic.
All right. Let's just you thinking.
I was just thinking, Bauchi is the governor is Otom, right?
No, that's Benue.
Okay, Benue.
Mohammed, Bala Mohammed.
Okay, now you see, my worry is...
He's the one who's talked about AK-47.
AK-47.
Yes. My worry is that, has Nigeria just become this porous? That anybody wakes up and comes into the country.
Yeah,
I learned a few days ago that Ghana apprehended, I think, about 40-something or 50-something Nigerians, who are illegal immigrants. But here in Nigeria, I've never heard that we have arrested anybody who ought not to be in Nigeria. So upon everything we are doing in our borders, people can just come in with that kind of presence, animals, sheep, and all that. They come in uninterrupted, no questions,
nobody's asking
nothing.
Where are you from?
And unfortunately,
what's your identity?
Exactly. Unfortunately, they've admitted that they are not Nigerians. Mm-hmm. What exactly are the security agents doing? The truth is that there is no how that kind of movement will be legitimate. And I still question their intentions. Why do I do this? Because if you're coming to do business in Nigeria, you must be properly documented. They are already coming in with their animals. They want to come to business. Which is business. They're coming to do business in Nigeria. And nobody bothers to even query them to the extent that they are passing through the Federal Capital Territory. Mm-hmm. If anybody or anything can pass through the Federal Capital Territory without any questions, how much more the other states?
Very soon they'll cross just in front of Aso Rock.
Well, we are where we are, and it's highly, highly unfortunate, I must say. But the truth is, we just need to wake up. The only time you see Nigerians or Nigerian people doing the best is when they play politics against themselves. That is when they can go get a court judgment in the night. They can do anything to outmatch the other.
Yeah.
But when it has to do with administering the state, they become lukewarm. We need to wake up. Everybody, both the citizens. I commend the vigilante people. Mm-hmm. I commend them. But unfortunately, the Nigerian scenario is always the same. The FCT police division was not available to talk to the press or to respond to the situation swiftly. But this is even not a situation that they should have even been tipped up by individuals. Their intelligence should have captured it from the border. That means anything comes into Nigeria, anything goes. So why do we worry about insecurity?
I mean, we're talking about Bauchi. They're going to Bauchi. And of recent, I think, who was making that statement? Ali Ndume. Ndume was the one who made the statement where he said Boko Haram is regrouping around Yobe, Borno, and Adamawa states. And he says, they're beginning to, regroup. And Yobe is a boundary with Bauchi. And I'm wondering why, for all these herders who, from what we understand in the papers, they're all moving towards Bauchi. And you have a very silent Nigerian police over these matters. And like some people will say, let something of this nature happen somewhere in the South. We'll start hearing response.
Exactly.
So why are we not? Because the people in the North who live in the North too, they matter. It's important that they also understand that the environment that they live is safe enough for them. You can't say it's safe and then you have hundreds of people moving with thousands of cattle or animal at night because they said they left their camp and moved in the night to Bauchi. So anything could happen during the process where they're moving their cattle. And then you think that it's okay? People who live around these regions that they'll be passing through, it's okay. I mean, the reporter here talked about how people did not leave their homes when they saw this happen because of fear.
Something just needs to be done.
I can't imagine how this just falls on the blind side of the eyes of the authorities. But then you have that there. It says tension in Abuja over hundreds of migrating herders from the Niger Republic. And then it says here the growing demand for a democratic system of local government in Nigeria. It's an opinion by Collins Okeke. Local government is the closest level of government to the people in Nigeria. The Nigerian Constitution in the fourth schedule lists out the many functions of local government, some of which include construction and maintenance of roads, streets, street lightings, drains, public highways, parks, markets, gardens, open spaces, amongst others. These functions show that local governments are essential to the advancement of the welfare of the people. Unfortunately, the local government system is often abused and neglected by states. The result is that the impact of local government is not felt by the people. The Nigerian Constitution provides for a democratically elected local government council. Section 7, sub 1 of the Nigerian Constitution provides that, and I quote, the system of local government by democratically elected local government councils is under this constitution guaranteed. And accordingly, the government of every state shall, subject to Section 8 of this constitution, ensure their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and functions of such councils. End of quote. The effect of Section 7, sub 1 above is that local governments must be administered by persons elected by the people, and state governments must work to establish a framework for democracy. This, however, is not the case in many states in Nigeria. Democratically elected local government councils are routinely removed by state governors with the support of state houses of assembly and replaced with unelected local government interim, caretaker, or transition committees before the expiration of their tenure. An example of the case of Governor Ekiti State and ORSV Prince Sami Olubumi, Executive Chairman, Idosi Local Government Area. In the case, the state governor relied on the Local Government Administration Amendment Law 2001 of Ekiti State, removed and replaced elected local government councils in the state with unelected caretaker committees before the expiration of their tenure. I'm just going to pause here first because I thought that, local laws formed, or shall I say, formed by state assemblies must be in consonant with the Nigerian Constitution. And where there is contestation, that it is the Nigerian Constitution that will prevail. So if there is any law, Local Government Administration Amendment Law 2001, that allows for a removal of a local government chairman and where an unelected caretaker committee will be instituted, that's invariant to the Constitution because it says that can't happen.
Well, that's the truth. But of course, you know that the governors are so powerful in this country that...
Are they more powerful than the courts?
No, see, it's the courts you are talking about...
Precious Udeke Esquire, tell me about this one.
You see, Annie, when you are talking about the courts also, people there, you see, they like honey also. If the honey goes to their mouth, they can't spit out, rather they swallow it. And so, because of the way governors are, more or less like emperors, there's nothing, even in the courts, bows to them, as it were. Oftentimes, when we talk about the corruption in the judiciary, people talk as if that is heaven. There cannot be any corruption. If not, look at it very simple, that the constitution prevails when there is contestation between a state-made law and that of the constitution. But they relied on Ekiti State or whatever, and they removed that particular. And I have severally heard that the Supreme Court said no caretaker and all that, but elected local government chairman. Now you rely on your own. The fact is that now when a powerful man comes and shakes hand with another person, even if a judge, that judge, in fact, bows to him, it is unfortunate. But I do not understand why these people will not take that case to Supreme Court. Maybe they make a move and start.
Precious Udeke, could you perhaps, maybe there's something within your sector that doesn't allow for this?
Yes.
Remove the verb.
You see, Annie, I would want to first say that we are on problems. Let me give us one lingering example, the Juson strike. Do you know that the Constitution has made provision for the independence of the judiciary?
Yes.
Both financial autonomy and all that.
Good.
Juson, had also at the time gone to the court and secured a very valid judgment and subsisting. Olisa Bakoba also filed a matter in court and also secured judgment. Now, why do we still beg these governors to grant autonomy to the judiciary? And that is why Juson is on strike today. So I don't seem to place it side by side, but we have our own problems. A good number of these governors today who are sitting as governors and cannot allow autonomy for judiciary, autonomy for House of Assembly, autonomy for local government, were the same persons calling for autonomy when they were not governors. Coming down to what we are talking about. Yes, legally first, the Constitution has made provision for the local government, but the Constitution only allowed the various houses of assembly to make laws enabling the independence, existence, and all that of the local government system in the respective states. But unfortunately, too, we have governors who, with the greatest respect, not all, may not allow their particular house of assembly to do their job within the whims and caprices of their conscience.
Yeah.
So to that extent, it has. In fact, I just believe Nigerians know everything, because some houses of assembly came to say we don't want autonomy when the federal government was kicking that they should be granted autonomy. And then you begin to wonder, how will a house of assembly come to say I don't want autonomy when the federal government is pushing for them to have it? For me, at times, I just feel that we cry more than the bereaved. If a governor comes to tell the House of Assembly, like the example we just had indicated, make a law that is repugnant to both natural justice, equity, and good conscience, even public policy, and you sit down, you make that kind of law, empowering the governor to so remove a serving local government chairman elected validly within the provisions of the law. And then we are still complaining. The problem we have in Nigeria, I'll continue to say, we just have to first start to remedy ourselves individually. Because I don't see situations where a law has been made and we now beg governors, we beg presidents, we beg people, chief executives to obey the law. To me, it's the most appalling thing I've seen. And like I said, the living example is what is happening now in Juson. So, yes, the law is there. There is a Supreme Court judgment granting autonomy for local government, independence, whatever. The law stops the governors from removing this.
They break it at every turn.
So, who will bear the cat? What do we do? Unfortunately, in this country, we plead with governors and the president or presidency, whatever we call it, to obey court judgments. Okay. But in democratic side, in safer clients, in a true democratic state, it shouldn't be like that.
To be. All right,
I also don't want to allude to the fact that it is because of corruption in the judiciary. Yes, there are no place that you can find those who are, but we still have very noble people who are in the judiciary.
Just like you find anywhere, very noble people in the police, very noble people. There's no profession. Hold on, just a moment. There's no profession you will not find very noble people. Not the police, not.
We have good judgments, but nobody's obeying. So do we still blame the judges?
Yes, they can enforce their laws, right?
No. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Enforcement of court judgment is one of the most difficult things to do.
Why is it difficult?
If you have a judgment, you take it to the commissioner of police. After you have gone through the...
we'll have this conversation when I return. I really need to take the news updates. Please stay with us. The news update is next.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Board Hardcore. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. Rivers State government contract for the construction of Sir Dr. Peter Odili Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center at the cost of 25.9 billion naira. The Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center will be sited at Rumokuta in Obiakpo local government area. Is expected to be completed within 14 months. Rivers State Commissioner for Health, Professor Princewell Chike, while briefing newsmen after the Rivers State Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Nyesom Wike, explained that the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is to be built, constructed and furnished by Julius Berger Nigeria Limited. Similarly, the State Commissioner for Works, Eloka Tasi Amadi, said his ministry had proposed and received approvals from the State Executive Council for the construction of a 9th flyover at Rumo Epiricom, dualization of the first phase of the Ahoda Omoko Road, as well as internal roads in Omerelu community in Ikwere local government area of the state. Tasi Amadi said the construction of the 9th flyover at Rume Piricom is necessitated by increasing vehicular activities and traffic jams at every entry points in Port Harcourt, stating that the flyover will be completed in 12 months at the cost of 6.6 billion naira and will be funded by the deduction of 400 million naira monthly from the state's internally generated revenue. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called on the federal government to develop means to deal with kidnappers and bandits in place of the payment of ransom. Obasanjo also stressed the need for leaders to ensure the 2023 birth emergence of a new federation in the nation, warning that the country may slide into what he described as ground dissolution. He made the recommendation when he received members of the TIV professionals group led by Professor Professor Zachary's Gundu at his residence within the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The former president, who condemned the security challenges in the country, insisted that 2023 must mark a watershed for Nigeria. There is the need for a shift from overdependence on professional disciplines and crude oil to other vibrant careers in the Niger Delta region. This is the observation of the organizers of the South-South Media Week, who briefed newsmen in Port Harcourt. The team leader of this year's South-South Media Week, Tammy Halliday, during the briefing, said parts of the issues to be discussed during the Media Week are insights and inspirations to help people and businesses understand how to achieve increase in digital world. And in India now, as we move to the foreign scene, India has said a double mutant variant of the coronavirus first discovered there in March may be linked to a deadly second wave. Samples containing the mutant variant have been found in several states with high case numbers. An official of the National Center for Disease Control said, however, that they had still been unable to fully establish a correlation. Meanwhile, India reported a record 412,000 cases in the space of 24 hours and 3,980 deaths. The government's top scientific advisor also warned a third wave is inevitable. And that was a news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget, please take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and the running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. So have a great morning. I am Annie Abdul Salam. Thank you for listening.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
We hear of these words every day. Never lie, cheat, steal, or drink.
What?
If you must lie, lie in the hands of the one you love. If you must steal away from bad company. If you must cheat death.
And if you must drink in the moments that take your breath away. Remember, happiness is free. Don't be a fool. Proudly brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Is to announce the burial of our respected departed colleague, late Surveyor Chief Luke Keonye Asika, past president of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, PPNIS, fellow of Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, FNIS, and past chairman of our branch, which comes up on the 7th of May 2021 at Umogwe Umuzike community in Olu local government area of Imo State. According to the family, his body will leave the City of David mortuary, Okudo, to Eze's Palace, Umokwe, Umuzike for a brief reception. By 8 a.m., body will lie in state in his compound at Umuegbe, Umuzike, while funeral mass will start by 10 a.m. at St. Patrick Catholic Parish, Umuzike. Interment follows immediately at his compound. Please do well to attend in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. Signed, Surveyor Dr. C.I.W. Ezi, MNIS, Chairman, Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, River State Branch.
You and Your Health is brought to you by Doctors Save a Life Foundation. You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Hello, my pleasure, my honor. And I consider it a privilege for us to always be together in this wonderful program, You and Your Health, brought to you by Doctors Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization with a clear vision of giving total health to the people of Africa through the power of knowledge. I do hope that this very program has been a blessing to you. One unique thing you owe us, you owe humanity, is to ensure that what you are gaining from this very program free of charge, you also should endeavor to communicate it to other people. Help people to know most of the deaths happening in Nigeria, in Africa at large, they are preventable. There are some of the things that if the right thing is done at the right time, most of the people we are buried in the name of one attack devil, all of them would have been living today. But what can we say to that? Let us believe that if we start today to do the right thing, definitely we may have something better to offer our people. How long can we continue to tell the story that somebody collapsed and died because of one enemy, because of someone in the office doesn't want the person to be in a particular position, or that because someone hates you, that's why what you are passing through right now in health is because of an attack from your village, attack from your purported enemies, attack from your uncle and all that. How long can we continue talking this trash? How long can the church continue to be in position to be a promoter of devil and the so-called agents of the devil? Are we being deceived? An attack from the enemy, if you go to hospital, you will, and the same fellow will, the person will die. Is it because nobody is talking about it? Is it because the society have not risen up against such evil that today people are using all manner of things to keep people perpetually in darkness on the things that are preventable or more accurately can be cured? And today I want us to look at the subject of sudden collapse. We bury so many of them, of course you could recall. Sudden collapse. That somebody, they call it the person in hell and hearty, and suddenly we collapse and die. Look at our House of Assembly, look at our Senate. People will just collapse just like that and off they go. And the conclusion of the matter is that it was a colleague, perhaps, who doesn't want him to sit in that office, that killed him. You get also in a situation, a footballer recently, just while playing football, of course, you've had a number of them that have collapsed like that, and just died. Just died on the field. And regrettably, I saw what people were doing. So one was shouting right there as the young man collapsed. Don't allow that mouth to close. And somebody held the mouth like Samson, who did the mouth of lion, suffocated the young man to death instead of doing the right thing that's supposed to be done, which is what is called CPR. That's what I'll be in position to teach the entire Nigeria. We are coming up under Dr. Save a Life Foundation paramedics. That's why you need to, at this very juncture, register with Dr. Save a Life Foundation, because we are going to do something to give a proper orientation to our people. What should they do in terms of emergency? What would they do in terms of when there is no doctor in their midst? Is there anything someone standing there can do? Just like we're going to talk about today, the causes of sudden collapse. Somebody suddenly collapse. Even at the point before the collapse, are there things that should be done in order to be able to save these ones? These and many more we'll be able to talk about in this edition. Don't miss it. Pick your phone, call your loved one to hook onto this station right now. I tell you, together we could be able to save millions of lives in this continent. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Welcome back. You are still on You and Your Health. I'm Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Dr. Save a Life Foundation. And today is a very special day because I want us to hear something that perhaps nobody have told you, a version like this. That if somebody collapses, what could be the cause of this kind of a thing? Is it really attack as we normally talk? Yes, some can be named attack because heart attack, stroke is an attack. There's also what is called transient ischemic attack. I will explain all that for you to understand that it is not what we call this thing is what it is today. No. Much more to that very death you know. And even the one that is about to die right now as I'm talking, there's something that could be done to save such one. Now, I will tell you, when you see people collapse, there are over 10 causes. Over 10. I'm not talking about one. Over 10 things that could cause this fellow that collapse to collapse. And if I should be in position to start in this very current dispensation, considering what is happening around us, let's take the subject of Ebola, the subject of Lassa fever, the subject of coronavirus apart, because all those things are some of the things that they are preventable as it were. Because if we must not wait only when those things come, that's why we start doing the right thing. We can't form a new habit just because issue of emergency has suddenly come up. We can't continue in this. It should be our lifestyle. Watching your hand regularly should be your lifestyle. So, in that particular subject, you can see someone who actually have a very full-blown symptom of coronavirus and may collapse. But a lot we can do in that very regard right now. And that starts from being in position to be what? Watch your hands, because your hand is your disease. A number of things we put inside our mouth, nose, and everywhere, they all come from our hands. So watch your hand regularly. That's very, very key message for now. All right? So, but let's also look at what kills our people more than the coronavirus. Because on the relative state, coronavirus, of all the people affected, the maximum so far that is looking at the Italian statistics, you have about 8% of the people overall that have actually died out of it. But there are ones that our people have been dying like fowl. And that's not also a subject to discuss for now. Because coronavirus will come and go. But this one has remained with our people as a lifestyle, as a goal. What can we do? Because if you consider the number of people who have died from heart attack, that have died from cardiac arrest, that have died from stroke, died from diabetic complications and all that, in millions. So if we're able to address some of these things, we will save millions of lives. All right. What are the causes of someone collapsing? Number one, in this our current economy, where it is obvious that so many people eat from just go out just to get what to put in the mouth. When you see somebody collapse, do not think of Ebola or think about coronavirus first. My dear, hunger. Hunger day. Many people don't have what to eat. So when you see somebody suddenly collapse, it can go down because of starvation. There's no food. Hypoglycemia, when the blood sugar, the sugar in the brain needed, oxygen the brain needed, they may take overdose of that very drugs when their sugar level is relatively fair. And overdose of that particular drug will now wipe off all the sugar from their body, and immediately they will feel this kind of sweat. The eyes will turn. They can collapse and go into coma. That's what is called hypoglycemic coma. That because of the sugar in the blood finish, you see most of them go into coma. When you see such people, even if there is nothing to do, you can take a cube of sugar and put inside the fellow's mouth if he lick and small, and you can just jack up like Lazarus. Or you rush the patient to hospital, the doctor can mix what is called 50% dextrose and inject into his blood vein. The person will wake up. So it is not all the collapse that once the person collapses, the person must die. No. There may be something that have gone wrong by reason of attitude or by reason of something that the person went into coma, and most of them are reversible. All right? In today's edition, therefore, what I want us to note is that someone who is diabetic, who is taking any drug, must be in position to be seeing his or her doctor. Because most diabetic drugs, if you take it poorly controlled or poorly managed or without the advice of your doctor, it may lead you into coma. And such one, if nobody has the knowledge of what to do, thinking it's a witches and wizard, he may walk out to travel to the other side without returning. So if you are diabetic, I advise you to ensure that you go to hospital, you interact with your doctor, you check your blood sugar even while you're also taking the drugs you are taking. All right. So that's the much we'll be able to take today. We're going to continue in this series, preventing reversible death in our society, and we're going to look at the other causes of sudden collapse, ranging from stroke, heart attack, transient ischemic attack, issue what is called syncope, epilepsy, and the rest. That's the much we'll be able to take today. This program is sponsored by Dr. Save a Life Foundation. You can support or make a contribution to this very subject by calling any of these numbers: 070 44 000 138 or 070 44 000 139. God bless you, and I want you to share the knowledge of what we have gotten today to everyone you know. See you again.
Make it a better place.
.1 FM, the voice of the people. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
I mean, it's great if it's already in the curriculum. My dad is a thief.
Hey, stop slipping with that dial. Be faithful.
Remember, you can send your thoughts to 070-1933-9962.
Be faithful to 95.1 Today FM.
Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Hello, Mountain. That job done set, too. The job done set. Now this man's now go do amo. When I did that job well, I want clean job.
About we can afford about them to call. I dey be one and lap, man. In drop where but call the other men there, but they lap my you understand. But one of this night, one of this night, you know I dey be 2 seconds, when I just show, when I just lap.
Your premium talk news and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM. The news update on the headlines. Police confirms attack by hoodlums in a community last night, leaving few dead and many injured.
No day wey they know they talk about us on radio. Make we think this thing well. This men they use us go struggle. Now we they spoil our society by ourselves.
True. Mom just ask me say how did they get my cash, and you know say I know they work now. You know now she just they worry. But wait. Where the children them they safe?
Oh.
All of them die abroad just they enjoy self. Oh man, I will just they do all the dirty work here.
Don't see them now.
No. I don't want kill again. I don't tire. If I may ask, this our baba, where their children they safe. If not good thing, they for don't involve their children for this kind of matter. Me, I don't want carry gun again. I don't tire. I know they carry gun again. Don't be by force. Make their children can't carry the gun.
Enough is enough. How long are we going to blame our government? We must agree to have a healthy society, a society that protects the weak while creating opportunities for the strong. Together, we can make this work. Let's give peace a chance. This information is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
The news and information you need, all in the palm of your hand.
Whatever has happened to Nigeria up to today, that Obasanjo is 90% responsible.
We give it to you on yours, the way you want it, anytime you need it. On the air, on Today 95.1 FM.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM. From 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
And you are listening to Today 95.1 FM. Welcome back. Precious, just before we took on that break, I wanted to find out, you were trying to explain to me something about the court processes, and you said there might be a problem with enforcing judgment. And you said if the courts approach the Commissioner of Police, then I had to pause you there. So let's continue from there.
Yes, I think I was saying that first, if you have a judgment today and you've certified it, you go to the bailiff session. I want to get the appropriate name for it, for them to execute your judgment for you. Unfortunately, we had been clamoring that there should be a police division with a DPO in the court there. So that if you have a judgment, all you need to do is to take it there. He confirms it's coming from the appropriate quarters. He mobilizes his men to execute the judgment. But here, if you go, most times you go to the CP will delay mobilizing his men to you for almost 3 months, 4 months, 1 year. If it's not such that they are favorably disposed to, they won't act on it. And they would have also made you pay huge amounts of money before they will even agree. And then probably when they give you the security, yes, that is when you can go to execute. But if you have judgment against the state government, where do you start from? Who will mobilize the security for you to move? So you see, the administration of justice has several bottlenecks. A lot has to be done before we can appropriately say, of course, if you're talking about autonomy, we should have the judiciary be able to execute its own judgment without making recourse to any external institution. So we are saying there should be, even though from the force headquarters, there should probably be an AIG or a particular officer that will be seized with enforcing court judgments. So that immediately there is a judgment and you're sure that this judgment is coming from the appropriate quarters, you execute. But here, that is why I'm telling you, Juson has 2 judgments. One, Juson filed itself. The other one, Valena's advocate, Lisa Bakuba. The constitution is there, but who will bet the cat? Who will compel the compulsion? No.
Yeah.
Who will
enforce,
prevail on the governor to obey this judgment?
Right.
So it's not like there's no job, but execution is a big problem.
All right, then we'll leave it at that, though. But this is the caption that led to that conversation: the growing demand for a democratic system of local government in Nigeria. And I guess, the more and more people realize how government is so far away from them and they can't take charge of their immediate affairs, we're beginning to scrutinize how much the local government administration is effective to its people, to those it's supposed to govern. Let me just quickly move on from that story to the very last we can take from the papers before we get back to opinion poll. And this here has a caption that reads, "Why presidential impeachment is a taboo in Nigeria." This is written by Azuka Onwuka. Between 1999 and 2007, 8 years, 5 Senate presidents emerged from the 5 Southeast states, one from each of the states. It is a point used to ridicule the Southeast geopolitical zone as incapable of working as one. But those who make that argument miss the underlying point in that scenario. Between 2007 and 2019, a period of 12 years, one person from the Southeast, Senator Ike Madu, was the deputy Senate president. The Southeast ensured that he was not removed or replaced. No Senate president or deputy Senate president or speaker has stayed that long in office in Nigeria. What was different between the two periods, between 1999 and 2007, an overbearing president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, was in power. He interfered with the legislature and ensured that he had a say on who became Senate president or speaker of the House of Representatives. But there was another stronger reason. The Senate presidency was zoned to the southeast by the ruling PDP. Therefore, the people knew that it was an incumbent Senate president, that if an incumbent Senate president was removed, another senator from the southeast will become the president. Before the Senate presidents emerged in 1999, many Southeast senators had argued that all the Senate presidents and speakers that had emerged from the Southeast all came from Anambra State. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dr. Nwafọ Orizu, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Nwafọ Orizu, Chief Edwin Ezeoke, and Chief Agunwa Anaikwe. Therefore, even though Senator Chuba Okadibo was the most popular senator from the Southeast in 1999, he was bypassed for Senator Evans Enwerem because he was from Anambra and was also not favored by Obasanjo. But each time a Senate president was elected, he was chosen from a fresh Southeast states until the 5 states from the zone tasted the Senate presidency. It was therefore a case of the head of the he-goat being in the bag of the he-goat. Between 2007 and 2015, Alhaji Omar Yaradua and Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who were more democratically minded, were in power and exerted little or no pressure on the legislature concerning who should be their leaders. Senator David Mack had a smooth tenure as Senate President for the first 2 terms, assisted by Senator Ike Ekweremadu. No attempt was made to impeach them. The only person that faced some pressure was the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Alhaji Aminu Tambuwal, who opposed the presidency of Jonathan and later defected from the then ruling PDP to the opposition All Progressives Congress. Between 2015 and 2019, Senator Bukola Saraki was Senate President, assisted by Ekweremadu. Another non-democratic Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired was in power as president. He exerted enormous pressure on the Senate leadership from the day Saraki and Ekweremadu were elected against his wish. But Saraki and Ekweremadu served out their tenure. On Ekweremadu, no Southeast senator tried to remove him. The reason was simple. The Deputy Senate presidency was not officially zoned to the Southeast. Therefore, if Ekweremadu was removed, it was most likely that he'll be replaced by a senator from another zone. Even the Southeast senators, who were not in the same party as Ekweremadu, saw it as meaningless to remove the only top politician representing their zone in the administration of Buhari. Ekweremadu therefore became the only Senate president that served for 3 terms. Similarly, even though Obasanjo was not the choice of the Southwest in 1999, but when there was a rumor that he had died before the inauguration date was allegedly predicted by Pastor Tunde Bakare, which was false, riots broke out in parts of the Southwest. Also, after Obasanjo's first tenure, there was an attempt to replace him with Dr. Alex Ekwueme from the Southeast, but the Southwest opposed it. As far as the Southwest was concerned, it was its turn to rule Nigeria. Consequently, Obasanjo completed his 2nd term. Likewise, in 2009, when it was obvious that Yaradua was no longer capable of ruling Nigeria because of severe illness, the North fiercely opposed the attempt to make Jonathan the acting president. They saw it an attempt to cut short its rightful turn to rule Nigeria. After Yaradua's mere 2 years as president, Yaradua was a Muslim from the North, while Jonathan, his vice president, was a Christian from the South. Consequently, Nigeria had no president for months until the doctrine of necessity was invoked by the Senate to make Jonathan acting president. Yaradua was not impeached, even though it was obvious that he was incapable of continuing as president. He was left to continue bearing the title of president until he eventually died on May 5th, 2010. Yaradua's death meant that the North had lost its turn to be president. It was a bitter pill for most Northerners to swallow, irrespective of party affiliation. Many voiced it out that Jonathan stole the mandate of the North, and he was opposed stridently by the North virtually all through his tenure. There have been calls for Buhari to be impeached for incompetence, ill health, tribalism, and inability to protect Nigeria from killings and kidnappings. Recently, these calls have been repeated following the high rate of insecurity in various parts of Nigeria. Anytime this call is made, even the fiercest opponents of Buhari from the North oppose it. The reason is simple. Impeaching Buhari means the North losing its turn to be president. The Southwest Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, will take over as president. That is something that no Northern legislator, especially from the Northeast and Northwest, will support. On the contrary, if there was a provision in the Constitution that if the president is removed from the end of his tenure, that someone from his zone will replace him, there will have been no fuss over Yaradua's incapacitation, neither would Buhari have lasted this long in office. Impeaching Buhari will not succeed. It will be resisted fiercely by the North. In fact, it is not good for political stability of Nigeria. On paper, what should be most important in deciding who should lead the country at any point in time is the capacity or competence of the person. But in Nigeria, it is not about competence. Ethnicity and religion play a huge part. These 2 issues cannot be discountenanced. Nigerians are primarily loyal to their ethnicity and religion, and secondarily loyal to Nigeria. Any attempt to deny them the presidency is seen as an act of war that must be resisted. That is why it will be virtually impossible to impeach a sitting president or vice president. If Nigerians want to have the possibility of having their president or vice president resign or get impeached, they must insist that it be added to the Constitution that whenever a president or vice president resigns or is impeached, someone from the same zone as the president or vice president will replace him or her. This means that there will be 2 vice presidents, one from the zone of the president and one from another zone. There is no gainsaying that Buhari has been a huge failure as president of Nigeria, but calling for his impeachment is a waste of time. It will never happen. It's not even healthy for Nigeria that he's impeached. Nigeria is already facing many problems for another to be added to the mix. You know what? We might just use this for opinion poll. All right, so Emmanuel, let me get your thoughts here. He says it's impossible to impeach the president. Let me start with whether you think that is true or not.
That is
with a National Assembly that has the powers to say, look, we're impeaching you.
You see, Annie, it's true.
Yeah, that's incapacitated to do that.
Oh, you see, incapacitated or not, you see exactly what happened. The picture he painted of Yaradua. What happened? As a matter of fact, the North allowed everything, even having known the critical condition Yaradua was in. But if Jonathan should take over, that he will want to run for 8 years again. At that time, as it were, the North will life follow. And their own time will be taken in acting capacity. But that's exactly what played out. You saw that Jonathan wanted another go at the presidency. But the truth is that I have always said it, that the problem Nigeria has is ethnicity. Ethnic politics is what is pushing Nigeria, like every other part of the world, as if its own politics is just the politics of division. That is it. Now, if you tell me that as Buhari is, whether he's performing or not performing, that the National Assembly could gather the 2/3 majority to impeach him, nowhere. The North will stand up and say, he is one of us, we know he is not performing, but he has to be there throughout his tenure. So you from other parts of Nigeria endure his performance. And that's exactly what will happen. If you don't try that, they will not. In fact, Jonathan, the second attempt at Jonathan going to be president, it was the North that opposed everything and said, no, he took our turn before when Yaradua died, and then he wants to continue. So this thing cannot be in the South. All of them, like I will always say in the National Assembly, joined the United Party of Nigeria. All of them. And said Buhari must come in because he was the available person there. So for me, it's just a waste of time. Even as I heard Mbaka was calling for his impeachment, I said, okay, Mbaka, call and then just go back to your house and rest. Nobody. It's difficult. You see the analysis of Azoka there. When he talked about the Senate presidency roving around the 5 states of the East. Exactly. Chief Obasanjo wanted it that way. And not that even the Chief Obasanjo's place wanted him. But when it was time to replace him, no. You can't do that. That is ethnic politics in Nigeria. And for me, I think it's a mirage thinking about impeaching any president in Nigeria.
We have your thoughts there. Precious UDK.
Well, I think that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can be impeached, but not with the present crop of lawmakers we have at the national level. As much as there is a legal framework that enables that, I have no reasons believing that it cannot happen. But politics in Nigeria has become something no one seems to comprehend with any longer. If a president is not performing, why shouldn't the National Assembly review and appraise the situation and decide whether or not to impeach? Loyalty to country is different from loyalty to a particular political leader. But most times we tend to believe that when we are loyal to the chief executive, we are loyal to the country. No. Patriotism entails that when the chief executive does something wrong, one should be bold enough to tell him or her that you've done the wrong thing and you've got to give way. But unfortunately, it's not like that. But from the analysis you read, if we say, let us have 2 vice presidents, one from the particular region where the president is from, while the other will be as it is today, that would be another very big problem, I can say, because the vice president who is standing in the wait for the president to either die, resign, or be impeached, what will the person be doing? Every morning now you be praying, God, let my turn come. And for your turn to come, the person presently that must give way. Before you know, you see those who are loyal to the that particular vice president, calling on the chief executive, so resign, you have failed. And they'll be exchanging words and banter. Because Nigeria, what I think is that we should grow a constitution that indeed represents our collective yearnings and aspirations. And for us to be able to do that, I think number one, rotational presidency. The time has come for us to have it embedded in our constitution. I don't like us as a country shying away from the truth. What we know is the very obvious. We all ethnic groups in Nigeria want to produce the president, but we don't want that to be replicated in our constitution. Does that tell well about us? So for me, if we have rotational presidency first embedded in the constitution, not now that we can say APC may decide to choose a candidate from the north again, and then the question is it not constitutional? All I care is constitutional. And I read a book that is the last 100 days of Abacha, where the Senator Dedibu said they were contemplating how to elongate Abacha's tenure. And he said all that needs to be done is to amend the constitution. That the wrong thing is to do what is not in the law. And of course that is true. As much as a particular thing is provided for in the constitution, the wrong thing is to do a thing outside it. So if rotational presidency is not in the constitution, the North can produce president for 8 years. We can only be crying morals, but that is not a legal position. Now, how do we resolve the imbroglio occasioned by the death of former President Yar'Adua of blessed memory? And then if we have a rotational presidency, and it is also included that whoever is manning the office at the material time, if he dies, there may be, say, by election, whatever we call it, to choose somebody again from that particular region to succeed him. I will agree, because if you say you want to elect a vice president in the waiting, the resources to run that person, Nigeria will keep spending. Before that person cannot work again. They will provide huge security presence in his house. They will budget food, feeding, clothing, and almost everything for him. And what will he be doing for Nigeria? Just sitting and praying to God that the present occupant should die? Or yes, there's nothing much again to it. So it should be stated to the extent that whoever that is there, if he dies or if for any reason he cannot occupy that office again, there should be somebody from his place to replace him. If we do that, that will be. But I want to pray. I doubt if my prayer can be answered, but I want to pray that the present crop of legislators, both at the state and federal level, should have the temerity to Buhari now, in my personal viewpoint, isn't doing the wrong thing, because the skyrocketing of prices, the insecurity and all that, in a place that is worth his onion, the president should actually on his own give way, because to me, he's failed. That's my position.
All right. Okay, what are your thoughts there? We have Dr. Emmanuel Iranema. He's a chartered arbitrator, mediator, management consultant, and social economic commentator, also joining us this morning. Great to have you. Good morning.
Always my pleasure. Good morning.
So we have the writer, Azuka says, well, this is the reason why we can't have an impeachment. So I would like to understand, do you agree with him?
Unfortunately, even the writer himself is suffering from the same thing he claims the rest of Nigerians are suffering. He too, from all through their issues, his ethnic bias, his religious bias, very clearly. But that's what Nigeria is today. There's no deceiving, there's no abuse in it. That's what Nigeria is today. Saying impeaching the president is impossible, given that situation, for me is a lie. Take what we have today. If you really want to impeach the presidency, as it were, I'm not even using the president now. It's as simple as impeaching the president and the vice president together, because after all, your law says that they came together on the same platform. And if we do that, who takes over? It's still the North. I'm sure the president is a Northerner. But we need to ask ourselves, is it impeaching for impeaching's sake or impeaching for
I guess when
outcome?
When we say we impeach, is because we have found the person is impeachable. Impeachable.
They have not. They don't have the fact. They don't have. They can't do anything.
No, hold on. We're not talking about this president, last president. We're talking about impeaching president.
That's what I just said. They've not been able to show.
Even with and what he said.
It's conviction.
No, hold on. Even with what he says, might be possible. Even if they have grounds with which to impeach a particular president, that because the laws, as it were, sees the vice president president rise to that rank, the people of that region, no matter what evidence you have, will feel slighted that you've taken away their opportunity.
I've given you very
and he
simple
says
thing.
the only way that impeachment may go through is if we say, well, we're impeaching you, you're from the southeast, and therefore the next person that will come in must also be somebody from the
We
southeast,
don't,
not your vice
we don't
president.
even need it. I've just shown you an example. I've shown you a
Of
very
what?
clear example.
Oh.
I said the president today is from the north. His vice is from the south. You have his senior president who by law, the law provides. The law says if the president and the vice president are not there available, the senior president takes over. And so if actually an articulated Senate or National Assembly meets and really has something,
so they'll take the
viable.
president and the vice.
Of course, yes, that's it.
No, you take only the president. Why will you take the vice?
Why should I go to the
Because
president?
you're impeaching the president,
No, I'm
not the
impeaching
president and the vice.
I'm impeaching the executive.
Is the
If
vice
it's not-
culpable? Is the vice
Of
culpable?
course, yes, that's the meaning. That's what I need to show. If that's what you want, that's what I need to show. So that argument for me is still a serious lacuda. And like you did say here, if I get somebody and say that he has to come and take over, what is going
No,
to
but hold on. I think that the reason why we have a running mate is should in case anything happens to the lead ticket, the vice takes over.
Not just that. Not just that.
What else?
That he's a partner in the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
He's a partner in the movement.
Yes, and that's why the law says
So
you
when it
cannot
comes to
remove
governance,
him. In fact, even the law, the constitution says you can't remove him from the main.
so when it comes to governance, and you feel like the president hasn't taken the actions where he ought to have taken them, why can't you separate then and say, well, we're removing you from that? Why must you? Why must you add? Why must you add the vice president?
Except it's an individual crime. If it's a crime, except it's an individual crime, that's where we remove
And that's
it.
what we are talking about.
Exactly,
here.
but that's what we're talking about.
Governance is not an individual thing.
No, but in this case here, in this case here, there's only one C in C.
Governance is not
In
an
this
individual
case,
thing.
there's
Let's also
only
understand
one
that.
C in C.
Governance is not an individual thing.
In this case,
It's
you
not in
have
this case.
only
It's
one
governance.
chief commander
No,
of armed
let's look at the
forces.
Constitution.
You don't
There's
have
a lawyer
an
here.
assistant.
No,
You don't
there
have an
is-
assistant
there
commander in
is- there
chief.
is-
Who is
there
the
is.
assistant commander
The
in
vice
chief?
president.
He's not.
He is.
Do you call him ACNC?
I don't need to call him
because
that.
he's not.
Because the law provides that they are two. They are one.
No, he's not.
The law provides that they are one.
Let Doc finish
Paul,
so
Paul,
that
let me say something.
that's-
Paul, sorry, Precious, please. Let me find. Is the assistant vice president the assistant chief commander? Yes.
He is not.
I'll say he is. I'll say he is because
he's not.
Whenever the president is not there,
And when the president is not there, and he does what?
who decorated the IGP?
Did
Osibanjo
That's what I was
decorated.
saying.
No, he did. I was going to ask why
He
he
did
transferred
not.
power.
He did not. But he decorated the IGP.
Osibanjo decorated the IGP. You see, so for
It's
me,
not valid.
anytime that the president is not in a position to perform that office, the vice president steps in. It doesn't also mean that you cannot impeach the president without the vice president.
I still don't see Osibanjo as assistant
what
commander in chief. No,
No,
I
vice.
don't.
What is vice?
He's not.
He's vice president.
You can
but
call
he's not
deputy, you can call assistant, you can call vice.
No,
It's the
that's
same thing.
whatever it is. But I still don't see him as
Except
deputy.
the crime in question is individual. If the president, as an individual in the presidency, does something, you can isolate the government.
And let Doc
I am
finish.
swear to agree with you.
Yes, if you can isolate whatever the crime is from the government and say, by your position, this is what you have done.
No.
Yes,
What did the Constitution say? What makes you impeachable? What does the Constitution say? Let me ask Precious UDK.
Sorry?
What does the Constitution state as grounds with which you can be impeached?
Well, number one, you become incapacitated.
That's individual.
Number two, you cannot perform. There is any other thing that makes you not to be able to perform the functions of the office. If also, for example, this insecurity situation and the National Assembly finds it worth the while to use as impeaching the president for incompetence, then it suffices. And in this instance, what Doc is trying to say is, if you now want to impeach Mr. President for being incompetent, how do you now exonerate the vice president? But if it is on health condition,
that's individual.
That's individual.
No, in the case here where you have a vice president who is not in charge of security, and you say, well, for grounds that you've been unable to provide security,
Your government has been able.
You, because like I said, I still see him as the chief commander. Because even all the time that you hear the service chiefs they said, we'll do this with the help of the president. I've not heard them say we'll do this with the help of the presidency. or we'll do with the help of, it's always with the president. Or we're able to do this because the president allowed us to do this, or the president graciously applied this. It's always the president they make reference to. So when there's also failure in that place, now why do you want to rope everybody
It's
else?
the presidency.
No, it's not the presidency.
Excuse
because
me,
they
I'm-
never give him thanks when they get what they want. They don't say
Let
the
me-
presidency, thank you, we got it. It's the president they refer.
Let me come in here, please. See, when you are talking about the vice being the, what do you call it?
Assistant.
Assistant.
That's the word. And
That's what
assistant
he
president. That's what
But
I use.
you, Doc, there's something.
I said they are together, they are one, inseparable. That's what the constitution says.
Good. You see, for me, they are not in that fashion. That
No,
time.
they are not.
If
That's what
one
the law says.
Not when it
let
comes
me
to
just- Let me
impeaching.
just finish. Please, hear me out. So that if, for instance, President Buhari commits any impeachable offense, you drag both of them together. No, it's not in that way. Now, let me give you an instance. You remember that when...
Don't misquote me, because you just said if President Buhari commits an impeachable offense, that's individual.
Good. Now, if it's in that way, I think it stays in that way because there's no time Osipanjo as a vice and the president will just be tied in committing impeachable offense.
Many times.
No, let me just finish my own. You see that when Buhari was going to London for health issues, which is individualistic though, but remember, if the vice were automatically an assistant, there will be no need for Senate approval or whatever, confirmation.
The Senate approved
No,
him.
hold on, Doc. Just listen to
Decorated
me.
AIG.
So that,
IG.
hold on. The decoration of IG
is the duty of the CNC.
If it is the duty of the CNC, you cannot also say with certainty that Buhari did not give him permission direct to do that. No, if remember this one he went, he didn't hand over power to him.
Because
So
that
I
is
am
the man
telling
on
you-
ground.
I am telling you that when he is going, if Oshibajo, because by merely being his vice, is entitled to being a commander-in-chief also, there wouldn't have been any need for Senate confirmation, say, I have transferred power to this man as acting president. No, there wouldn't be at all. He would have just assumed that position because his principal has left. But because there's something missing from the vice, that is why the Senate has to appropriately and officially crown him as the acting president. That is my own view on this. So two of them are not just the same.
All right, I'm checking out what we have here in the processes of impeaching a president in Nigeria. Obviously,
I'm all ears.
Dr.
I'm all ears.
Allow me. Now, impeaching the president, a sitting president in Nigeria, is a very serious matter.
Yes.
And it's serious not simply because it amounts to effectively sacking the number one citizen of the country, but also because it amounts to reversing the decision of a majority of citizens of Nigeria. And that is what Azuka was trying to mention.
Good.
And that we stated that people from that region, who we want to believe came out overwhelmingly because of tribe and culture and religion, will have voted for a particular candidate, will feel, that slight. They're taking this position away from us. I might want to oppose it. If there are also a huge representation in the National Assembly, you might also get that. But in case you're able to sail through and you do that due to severity of the issue, the process of impeaching the president is pretty stringent. One, a notice of any allegation in writing alleging gross misconduct on the part of the president. This notice must be signed by not less than 1/3 of the members of the National Assembly, both Senate and House of Representatives. And gross misconduct is defined by the Constitution as a grave violation or breach of the provisions of this Constitution, or a misconduct of such nature as amounts, in the opinion of the National Assembly, to gross misconduct. So the National Assembly can also determine that a particular thing for them is gross misconduct.
Yeah.
Step 2, the Senate President must within 7 days serve the President and each member of the National Assembly with a copy of the notice of allegation. Step 3, the President has a right to reply. He or she does not have to reply, however, but you have the right. And any such statement in reply to the allegation must be served on each member of the National Assembly. Step 4, within 14 days of the presentation of the notice to the Senate President, each House of the National Assembly shall resolve by motion, without any debate, whether or not the allegation shall be investigated. This motion needs to be passed by at least 2/3 majority of all members of each House of Assembly. Step 5, if the motion fails to reach the required majority, the process immediately stops.
It dies.
No further action will be taken. However, if the required majority is obtained and the motion is passed, then the Senate President will, within 7 days of the passing of the motion, request the Chief Justice of Nigeria to appoint a panel of 7 persons who are, in his opinion, of unquestionable integrity. I'm just imagining the chief justice of Nigeria and his opinion of unquestionable integrity. Oh Lord, help us to investigate the allegations. The members of the panel cannot be members of any public service, legislative house, or political party. Then step 6, the panel is to report its findings within 3 months of being appointed. The findings will be reported to each house of the National Assembly. During the proceedings of the panel, the president shall have a right to defend himself and shall also have the right to be defended by a legal practitioner of his or her choice. I think that in this case, they'll prefer a legal practitioner. But then let's move on. Step 7, when the panel reports that the allegation has not been proven, there'll be no further action. However, if the report is that the allegation against the president has been proven, then the National Assembly will consider the report and the resolution for the adoption of the report shall be moved. Step 8, for the resolution to be adopted, it must be supported by not less than 2/3 majority of all members of each house. Once adopted, the president's style shall stand removed from office as from the date of the adoption of the report. These are the consequences. Upon the adoption of the report by 2/3 majority of the National Assembly, the president stands impeached and must immediately vacate the office of the president. The office of the president will pass to the incumbent vice president, and he shall take the oath of office. Once the resolution is adopted and there is no recourse to any court of law or judicial proceedings, the president cannot challenge the decision of the panel or the National Assembly. There's still more. But I'm saying here, there are reasons where the National Assembly can find something that they feel is of gross misconduct by the president.
Oh, yes.
And they will now use that as processes for which to follow through for an impeachment. And if they do get through and sail through, the president alone is the one impeached.
That is if he is the one that is attacked here.
And so far, we've been talking about him being attacked.
No, I'm showing
we've
you
not
that
said.
I give you an option here. Listen now. The author of the work in crafting his position and in fact giving solution. We even want a step further to suggest that we create another office of a vice president wherein.
Is that in there?
Yes. That's what he said.
I thought they said that.
That's what he asked for.
Is there?
That's what Azuka said.
Yes, that's what Azuka said. That should be.
That would be problematic.
No, I think what he said was the Constitution. In the Constitution,
that we should do that in the Constitution.
We should, yes, we should say that if you impeach somebody, that somebody from that region.
No, there will be a spare vice president.
There should be a spare vice president. That's what Azuka is suggesting. Azuka is suggesting that there should be a spare vice president.
Yes.
From where the president comes from.
That's what he said.
And that he quietly said, what will that person be doing and what will the prayer of that person? That person's prayer will simply be that the president dies
so that he steps in.
or he should be impeached so that he gets it. And I said, why all of that rigmarole? If you are if the assumption, if the fact is that because of where the president comes from, I'm taking the present government as a case study. And I said, look, the president is from the north, the vice is from the south. The Senate president, ordinarily, if you go down that lane, you'll find that where the vice president is not there, the Senate president becomes the president. Yes. So if the National Assembly is sincere, and that is the Senate president,
the Senate president becomes president until when?
Enacting capacity.
Until election is created.
So if for 3 months.
Yes, until election is conducted.
It's just 3 months.
Yes.
Unlike with the vice president who will finish the tenure.
Until the election is conducted.
Yeah, but in the case of the vice president, he finishes the tenure. There's no elections.
Yes. Until election is conducted.
You see, the case of the Senate president taking over can only arise when there is anything that removes government, president and the vice.
I've just said the same thing.
It's not in the case of, for instance, there's something that...
we are talking from Azuka's...
Okay, perspective.
The whole thing
I need to go read the news. Thank you very much.
From
Before
where
you
Azuka is
impeach
coming
me.
from.
Every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. President Muhammadu Buhari has welcomed the release of the abducted students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in Afaka, Kaduna State. The president, in the statement issued by his spokesman Garba Shehu, called for the release of the kidnapped students of Greenfield University and other people still in captivity. Gunmen had in the early hours of March 11, 2021, stormed the school and whisked away 39 students, releasing 10 of them in 2 batches of 5 each, before releasing the last batch of 29 55 days after the kidnap. Chairman of the Parents Committee, Abdullahi Usman, has confirmed the release of the students by bandits to newsmen, although he did not state if any ransom was paid to secure the students' freedom. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma says security agencies are compiling a comprehensive report to reveal the sponsors of violence in the state. Uzodimma said Uzodimma made the revelation when he featured as a guest on a television program where he highlighted the government's efforts at restoring peace in Imo. The governor was reacting to the attacks on security facilities in the state, including the incidents at the custodial center and the police headquarters in Owerri, the state capital. According to him, Nigeria is a federation and people can see the trend of crime and violence in various parts of the country. Governor Uzodimma insisted that the present security challenges in Imo and some other states were being sponsored by those resolving on bringing down the All Progressives Congress-led federal government. Community leaders in Igurtali, Nikwe local government area of River State are making efforts to avert a possible protest being planned by members of Omodoma and Alimini communities. The members of the community said they are angry over the lack of drainage system in the community, even as construction of roads is ongoing in the area. A member of the community, Matthew Wankwo, who spoke on behalf of his people, said while a drainage system is being constructed for other communities, the Igurtali section is neglected. Wankwo, who is the former Secretary General of the Movement for the Liberation of Ikwe People, however, appealed to the youths to rescind their decision to stage a protest, assuring that efforts are on to reach out to the state government over the issue. And on the foreign scene, the U.S. Secretary of State has told the BBC that the U.S. will respond to reckless or aggressive acts by Russia. Anthony Blinken said the U.S. was focused on actions such as the treatment of opposition figure Alexei Navalny, the SolarWinds hack, and election interference. Blinken was in the U.K. for a meeting of foreign ministers of the G7 group of industrialized nations. And that was a news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget, please take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and the running water and avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. I am Annie Abdul Salam. To have a great morning. Stay with us.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
It don't happen to witness 7 wonders in Kingdom of Jordan. Na your #1 ticketing company. You fit fly, bring them to owner. Shebi you know say Jordan na another beautiful country where they for Middle East with rich historical sites and plenty delicious food. Where we say if you taste them, you no go one left the country again. This ogbonge trip to Jordan na the Afro Juju creator SSP Sashino Peters go lead them. Now it make me the tell on her. Say make you forward to match now. Go to you Fit Fly office
at number 49, Semakul Building, Iwofe Road, opposite First Bank, off Ada George by Pepperoni, Paracourt. Telephone 090-703-73696.
You Fit Fly 2021 tour to Kingdom of Jordan. I must today there.
Good day, listener. Here in the studio with me are 2 business consultants, Funaya and Sophia. Both are senior consultants of the La Buena Vida project. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Funaya, let us know about this La Buena Vida project. What is it all about?
Okay, thank you. Now, the La Buena Vida project is an international cash flow and lifestyle initiative that enables qualified individuals to 1. Tap into its cash compounded business services to generate funds for business or projects. 2. It allows you access to discounted and free lifestyle packages globally. 3. It enables you access to effective health maintenance organizational services, also known as the HMO services. 4. It enables you to own your dream home through our e-block channels. Number 5, it allows you to access discounted and free exquisite vacations across choice locations all over the world. And number 6, it allows you access to our car program and gives you an opportunity to own a brand new car. Now, it is the first national cash flow lifestyle and housing platform in Nigeria with billion-dollar global partners in health, construction, beauty, and lifestyle sectors. We are in partnership with Nature's Way in the US, DSM, Wida Global Nutrition in Netherlands, Ego Block Construction Company, Inosin Motors, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Access Bank, and EcoBank.
Wow, that is interesting. What is the goal of this La Buena Vida project?
Okay, the goal of this project is to raise the next generation billionaires across the globe and help thousands of partners live the good life. We also empower our partners with a real-life functional roadmap to help them become financially stable and enjoy the good life through the mentorship of financial experts on ground.
What category of people are you looking out for?
Okay, now we have various categories of people we are looking out for. Number 1, those who have projects or businesses that needs funding. 2, we're also looking out for those who have credible ideas but don't know how to harness it and turn it into reality. We're also looking out for those who have goals and dreams they want to achieve but don't know how to go about it. We're looking out for those who want to pursue their passion. We're also looking out for those who are tired of working for others and wants to become a boss of their own. And we're also looking out for those who are tired of living beneath their financial obligations and are looking for ways to supplement their income. Now, those who are also tired of living in a rented apartment and wants to own a home of their own. And the last category of people we're looking out for are those who are looking for a strong secondary source of income.
Interesting. How can one become part of this project?
Well, we're going to be working with a few selected individuals listening to this radio program. If you fall within the above mentioned category, simply text your name and location to the number I will be calling out shortly. And we are going to select only the first 50 persons who will respond to this program now. Simply send your name and location to 08066932729. I say it again, 08066932729. The consultants of this La Buena Vida project will be on ground to discuss with selected individuals who will assist on this project. So to be part of this project, simply send your name and location to the number 08066932729. Once you are selected, you will get a call or an invitation SMS from our organization. Ensure you clear your schedule to be available once you are selected to avoid losing your slot to someone else. So once again, the number to send your name and location to is 08066932729. And the first 50 persons to respond will be contacted. So pick up your phone and send your name and location to 08066932729 and stand the chance to be selected. Please do not call. Just send a text message with your name and your location to 08066932729. I say the number again, 08066932729.
Listener, you've heard it all. La Buena Vida project is here to change lives. Be part of this great La Buena project opportunity. Gentleman and lady, thanks being with you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You can never plan the future but the past. Why to live can bear almost any hour. Lost time is never found again. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is the privilege of wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. In the end. It is not the years in your life that counts, it is the life in your years. Make it count with us. Make it count with us at Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
Okay, my name is Vincent Udoye. I am a marine engineer by training. I've worked for so many major companies, both inside and outside the country. Okay, at some point, I realized I want to make a difference in people's lives. So I was looking for a business I can do to affect lives. So I resigned my job and I started trading Forex. Okay, I learned how to trade Forex and I began to trade Forex. Okay, but I realized that no matter how much money I spent, how much time I spent to it, I was not making any money in Forex. I was actually losing money. It was like a serious battle. I was always checking my lab. Pro is a Forex trading company that uses artificial intelligence to trade Forex and pay you a consistent profit every single day. Omega Pro is currently in over 100 countries around the world, and they have over 95,000 clients that they are trading for, and nobody is complaining. Everybody is making money because Omega Pro uses traders that are licensed and regulated all over the world. So Omega Pro can trade Forex for you and they can pay you every single day. You can withdraw your profit anytime you choose to. You can withdraw your capital whenever you want to. Omega Pro is totally transparent, very ethical company that is global in nature, okay? But they are now in over 100 countries, and they have made it so simple for everybody to participate in the Forex business and to make serious money in Forex. Thank you very much. First of all, I want us to understand that Forex trading is a profession, okay? Now, people who join Forex, they just dabble into Forex. You know, you go to all these local brokers, they train you for 3 or 4 weeks, and you start calling yourself a Forex trader. You keep losing money. You don't have the intelligence, you don't have the skill, you don't have the right tools. And you know, our internet supply in Nigeria is very epileptic, okay? Power supply is epileptic. And then you want to compete with all those foreign traders? It's impossible. They keep losing money. What Omega Pro is saying is that you don't have to keep losing money in Forex. You don't have to be a stockbroker to make money in the stock market. You don't have to be a pilot to fly to Abuja. You don't have to be a fashion designer to wear very nice clothes. What makes you think you have to be a Forex trader to make money in Forex? That is a lie from the pit of hell. Everybody can profit from Forex. There is no point you wasting your money because you don't have the skill or the right tools or the right environment. So let Omega Pro trade for you. There is no moaning or no groaning or no complaining. The country right now is tough. We all know that. But Omega Pro will help everybody, regardless of your education level, your academic ability, your age, your sex, your religion, whatever. You can all invest in Forex, and Omega Pro will trade your package for you, and they pay you every single day. You don't have to be a Forex trader to make money in Forex. You see, when I started Forex trading, okay, I joined companies that told me that all I have to do is pay my monthly subscription, they will train me, and they will give me the signals to trade, okay? Now, the thing is this, you are paying your monthly subscription every single month. They are not even asking if you are making money. You are losing money and you are still paying monthly subscription. In Omega Pro, there is nothing to pay. You simply acquire a package and they trade for you and they pay you. And they have traders who have been trading for over 15-20 years. Very, very experienced, okay? Highly skilled traders. And they trade for you and they pay you. Do you know that even banks are trading Forex? But banks can afford institutional traders who are consistently profitable. But you and I cannot afford such traders. What Omega Pro do is to link you up to the same traders, the same institutional traders who are trading for the banks, and they will trade for you and they pay you every single day. Okay? The fact is that you don't have to be a Forex trader. You don't have to know anything about Forex to make money in the Forex business. Those who can benefit from Omega Pro sincerely is basically everybody, because you see, you are not the one doing the trading yourself. You don't need to know about resistance, support, and all those jingles they use in forex, all those slangs. You don't have to know anything. Just think about it. You buy shares. Are you a stockbroker? No. You buy shares with the hope that the shares will appreciate and then you make money. Okay? So the same applies in forex. You can actually get the professionals to do the dirty work for you and then they pay you every single day. Now, housewives can trade forex. Students can trade forex. Workers, business people, politicians, anybody who desires to make money in the forex business. Let me tell you one thing. Forex is huge. Every single day, over $6 trillion is being traded in the forex business. Okay? Over $6 trillion. Now, most of the fortunes of several European families were built in forex. Forex is over 300 years. It's a very strong and very stable business. But the challenge is that a lot of people don't even know how to trade. They dabble into it and they lose money. Okay? You don't have to lose money anymore. Let Omega Pro handle all your trading needs and they pay you every single day. Forex has been around for over 300 years. Forex is the best business for a time like this when so many companies and so many countries are going through all these COVID challenges, okay? For free, okay?
Date to 080-3308-3703. Again, 080-3308-3703.
Omega Pro is real. Omega Pro is transparent. Omega Pro is a winning formula for this period of recession. Once again,
date Sunday, 9th May 2021. Venue Kibet Homemade Restaurant at number 1 Ada George Road by Location Junction, opposite Moment Event Center, Port Harcourt. Time 2 p.m. For more information, send yes to 080-3308-3703. Again, 080-3308-3703.
Okay, thank you very much. If you want to make money in Forex without you being a Forex trader or knowing anything about Forex, we will give you the information you need.
Date Sunday, 9th May 2021. Venue Kibet Homemade Restaurant at number 1 Ada George Road by Location Junction, opposite Moment Event Center, Port Harcourt. Time 2 p.m. For more information, send yes to 080-3308-3703. Again, 080-3308-3703. Date Sunday, 9th May 2021. Venue Kibet Homemade Restaurant at number 1 Ada George Road by Location Junction, opposite Moment Event Center, Port Harcourt. Time 2 p.m. For more
gone past and you're still listening to Today 95.1 FM. Well, welcome back. We've been talking about Bazooka's position on impeaching the president. And he says, look, it's as much as some of you fancy that idea, it's going to be a Herculean task, especially here in Nigeria, where the Constitution doesn't give room for an impeached president to have a replacement that will come from their zone. And unless that perhaps was inculcated in the Constitution, we might continue to have that, since people are really sentimental to their religion and their regions, and they don't see Nigeria from a holistic point of view. That will continue to be a determinant as to how easy it is to impeach. But aside how easy that is to impeach, I think there's also so much that I saw going through the different steps that puts a lot of hurdles to that. First, you're going to get the chief judge, who is going to appoint a panel of men and women who are supposed to be, of integrity.
In his opinion.
In his opinion, solely his opinion. So he says, okay, Irian Emma, Precious UTK, Annie and Emmanuel, you're all part of the constitution. Go ahead, and it doesn't matter. He didn't say they must come from what parts of the nation. His opinion only.
That's too much for a human.
And then this group of people will now sit for 3 months to investigate the allegations against the president, then come back and brief the House. And then, at that point, they'll invite the president to defend himself. And he can do that defense now, either by himself or by a lawyer.
Mm.
And then when they defend all the points, they'll now decide, okay, well, this is it. And if the panel has come forth and says, well, we didn't see anything, that's it. It ends right there.
Can go back and start
Regardless what 3/4 of the House had come up with. At the point where the panel comes back and said, there's nothing here, this is just hogwash. End of matter. But if they say there's something, then the president has to defend himself, and he can do that, but through proxy. He might still not need to come before the House. He can just send maybe the chief judge and say, go do that. Attorney General, go defend me. He still doesn't have to come and explain himself before anybody. And when all that is done, if he's finally found guilty at that point, then there's another vote. 3/4 of the House will have to come up with that position before he stands impeached. I just think it's such a ironclad procedure.
Are wired to fail. I tell you.
It's more wired to fail than anything else I can imagine.
What kind of thing is that?
But I mean, I would think that once
it is written to gauge poachers. Because
it's written to gauge what? What is it gauge?
No, he just told you. The many poachers you have in the country. Because, see, you can imagine making it free. I can assure you, in 4 years
we'll impeach
of tenure, of course, you will impeach. Every 3 months, there will be impeachment.
No, but do you know what it takes to get the 3/4 of the Senate to agree and 3/4 of the House to agree?
You see,
in political lines, it's very easy.
It's not. I mean, look at what we've been going through with the... it's not true. It's not true.
I think drafters of that particular part of the Constitution now borrowed it from what is happening at where traditional stools are by inheritance. You see how even family members kill themselves. And in that, if for instance, like Azoka is suggesting, if you have, let the president go, but somebody from his ethnic region should replace him.
You'll fight to
I tell you,
region for the 4 years.
That particular person that will be in wait can go traditional, can go anywhere to make sure that the president is eliminated. And so another person will also go. And we keep on going, moving forward and backward.
All right, then. Okay, in any which case, we're looking at the grounds with which to impeach the president in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at another story real quickly and, throw that in and say whether that is enough grounds for impeachment, if that is what at all they would like to consider. The APC caucus berates opposition for tagging Buhari absentee president. All Progressive Congress caucus in the Senate yesterday berated its counterpart in the opposition for describing President Muhammadu Buhari as an absentee president. The minority caucus from both chambers of the National Assembly had converged to register their grievances against the ruling APC over the derailing ship of state. They said they had taken note of the fact that the president had been absent from duty. We have not seen our president. We've not heard from our president, despite the daily killings that have turned Nigeria into a killing field for unimaginable proportions, the minority group said. Addressing journalists after their own meeting, the Senate leader, who is also the chairman, Senate APC caucus, Yahya Abubakar Abdullahi, said that they rejected the many incorrect statements made by the opposition lawmakers. We take exception to the unfortunate charge that our president has not been seen. This is false and cheap politics. The president and service chiefs are meticulously busy every day and every night in deliberations with a view to addressing the security challenges across the country. Mr. President has always made statements to Nigerians on all major security incidents and assuring Nigerians and indeed the international community that he will continue to do his best in ensuring that the security challenges are tackled head on, Abdullahi said. He assured Nigerians that President Buhari is in charge of government and is discharging his duties conscientiously and patriotically. The federal government, under the People's Democratic Party, refused to invest in security infrastructure in the country, but President Buhari, under the APC-led administration, has massively invested in this regard, more than any past government, and we're confident that the nation will surmount its current security challenges, he said. The APC caucus further said, indeed, we're quite aware of the role of the opposition in any democracy. However, the statement by the PDP caucus has gone too far, given the good working relationship in the 9th Assembly, and especially with the minority caucus. In any democracy, the right to present criticisms and concerns on the state of the nation's affairs are unassailable. However, we're concerned that the statement of the minority caucus is capable of overheating an already charged polity in which men of good conscience and patriotism are expected to act as leaders and as statesmen. So he says, look, you can't say he's an absentee president. We see him all the time with security chiefs, meetings over meetings, day and night, working tirelessly to ensure that the security of the people improves and the general welfare of Nigerians is better. And to say that we've not heard from the president is fallacy. That's not true. The PDP on their position said they haven't heard from the president, and the president hasn't addressed any of them. He hasn't come before them, hasn't addressed the nation as a whole in the manner they will have expected in the time of crisis that we've seen. And it just seems as if it doesn't seem that he is an absentee president. Now, I'm thinking that the establishment of an absentee president, if that were to be established, would that be grounds to seek for an impeachment? That, look, as president, we don't even know you, we don't see you, we don't know whether you're there. Remember that during Yar'Adua's case too, I mean, this was part of the issues that were going back and forth as to whether they should impeach him, because I remember conversations at that time were heard because of his illness. He was incapacitated. He was unable to feature in several discussions that were ongoing at that time, and also to assuage the rest of Nigerians that he's alive and doing well, and that he's still capable. His sensibilities around him were enough for him to deal with the issues of Nigeria. There were issues where they said, okay, good, let's get a medical team to go and do evaluations. All these were part of the conversations had in case, they were going to get any issues that might avail them the opportunity to impeach the president before he died and took away that conversation away with him in his death. I'm thinking that now that this is resurfaced somehow by the opposition caucus in the House, that maybe this is also, laying the ground for some impeachable process. Do you think this will stand, like you're an absentee president?
Well, Annie, there's no elected president of any nation that should be an absentee president. If you happen to become one, automatically you have dwarfed your personality as a president. However, I don't think, I think the PDP, the minority caucus of the PDP, is addressing the president based on what can be seen, not what cannot be seen. And for me, it will not hold water for his impeachment, because it went as far as addressing the president and absentee president based on the fact that they are not seeing him, he's not addressing them. If it were in reality that the president is not seen, is not known to be in Nigeria and nothing perpetually, then it will hold water. Because even the caucus of the APC supporting him would have been able to say, okay, he's in the Aso Rock, or he's not, not in Nigeria truly, and for this long a time he has not been in Nigeria. Then what are we going to do? It would have, in effect, reached a consensus. But for now, I don't know, whoever is carpeting the PDP, I think with the enormity of insecurity, the president truly should have been able to address Nigeria, giving them hope. Because it's not, even if he's meeting with the service chiefs and all that, these are not the only people that elected him. I think the nation owe it to the president to address them and say, my countrymen and women, I am seeing exactly what is happening, what is befalling us. But of course, we're also making plans. By that particular statement or pronouncement, you will be assuaging their feelings of maybe being in a rudderless country, in a country without a leader. But where you just keep quiet and we are hearing you are maybe making all the necessary plans with the service chiefs and all that, then it's not everybody that knows. But when I said it won't stand to become an impeachable offense is that everybody, PDP, APC, even non-political people, saw when the president came back to Nigeria from London. At least those who watched on television. And again, heard it also in the news, and heard pronouncements he made when he came back. But the fact is that he has gone to Aso Rock and hold up there. And he's not see, in Nigeria, why are our things different? If anything should happen that is very serious, you see other people's presidents go there. But this one is not doing so. Do you blame anybody who says he's an absentee president? But I know that to the extent they are declaring him absentee because he's not seen in coming out to talk to the nation. And so it will indeed, with all the hurdles stacked against impeachment of the president, this becomes very insignificant. So it won't see him off because of impeachment.
All right, let me get to you now, Precious UDK.
You see, without mincing words, I'll make the boldness to say that President Muhammadu Buhari has not been visible enough in words and in actions. Unfortunately, we would have wished to see him more. Starting from where Ogema just concluded, I would say that when most of these security challenges happen, I expect Mr. President to physically go there, appraise the situation himself, and then proffer solutions. But unfortunately, we've got to see press statements coming out days or hours later without the president actually going there in person. But if we say absentee president, for me, what really amounts to that phrase is the president absent from the Aso Rock but present in leadership in the country, or Mr. President is absent in appropriately manning the country but present in Aso Rock? Is Mr. President out of the country? What exactly does anyone mean by saying absentee president? I would have loved the president to have qualified it a bit more in definitive terms so that I can appropriately comprehend, because for me, the word appears to be a bit vague. If you say you want to impeach a president for being an absentee president, does the absence amount to, is it necessitated by incapacitation? What exactly is the reason for the absence? Because throwing the word absence and being the reason for impeachment makes no meaning to me. If you want Mr. President to visit any scene of crime, it is only persuasive. It is not sanctioned by law. And as a lawyer, I would want to believe that whatever that is not sanctioned by law, it has no legal backing, and of course, no one should be penalized by that. Now, the problem we now have is Mr. President has not done exactly what I expect him to do. If the president is in the Federal Capital Territory and a couple of these issues are boiling, without the clothing of any legal sanction, shouldn't Mr. President take more actions? Assuming I concede to the fact that absentee president is implied to mean Mr. President not doing what he should do in terms of securing the lives and property of Nigeria and Nigerians, I should expect Mr. President to show more presence. Oftentimes, we've got to hear from aides of the president. We hardly hear directly from Mr. President. I know anybody can argue that aren't those people appointed to speak for the president? Yes, they are. But in some more critical issues, the president should come straight to address the country. We shouldn't be... most times, when I read those press statements, I just feel that a particular person would have sat down, called the team, let's craft this statement and read to Nigerians without the president actually knowing anything much about it. That's my take, and that's how I view those things. But it will make more meaning to me if these things happen and Mr. President comes out to say, When I hear the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has condemned that, I itch to hear the president's voice. But you read from the news where the statement coming from the Gabashew or this or that. We want to hear directly from the president. I don't, because the only reason I'm not agreeing to the absentee president toga is just because it is not been appropriately defined. If it has to do with him addressing the country regularly, then he has failed in that regard. Yes, no law sanctions that, but persuasively, Mr. President should imbibe the culture of talking to Nigerians when most of these issues happen. The PDP, yes, have done well. It's opposition, an opposition party. And for me, a lot of people will say the PDP has not done well as an opposition party, but you don't do opposition to pull down the country. I observed when Jonathan was here that almost all those who were criticizing Jonathan were merely doing that to pull down Jonathan without backing it up with reason. And that is why today, when you confront them with most of those things they say, they have no tangible reason. They have no justification.
Yeah.
So I will commend the PDP for what they've done. They also need to do more, but constructively and not destructively. Yes, Mr. President, it is not, for me, just like I think it was Senator Smart Adeyemi who was making a statement, and we heard someone from the background saying, are you not in PDP? Are you a wolf in sheep clothing? That is not what Nigerians should be expecting. When if there is a genuine reason why a member of the APC should criticize the federal government, the person should be bold enough to criticize the federal government. The APC is not a cult group where you cannot differ from the decision and activities of the group. So the PDP has done well. It is not everything that the APC will respond to. It is not every time that PDP condemns and the APC must respond. The president should show more presence in the affairs of the country.
So I mean, so the bottom line, if he continues to show maybe this line of absence, as the PDP have said, is that impeachable?
It is not.
It's not.
It is not, because for me, like I said, if his absence is necessitated by incapacitation.
Yeah, but we can't tell because we don't know if he's incapacitated.
No, again,
he's
I
not
just
showing
said
up.
we saw him when he came back to the country.
Yeah, after he came and called.
Yeah, the holy meetings.
He's been holding. Yes,
meetings
I've been
on
watching
at least I've
pictures.
been watching
I've been seeing
certain
pictures.
activities.
You seen pictures?
Yes, of Mr. President. Let me not suppose it.
He just saw the.
My own, I've been seeing him live on television.
With movements.
Yes.
For me,
and speeches.
Of course.
You
Talking to
heard him
people
talking
around
to.
him.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you heard him speak.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
So in administering the country, I feel that Mr. President should show more presence.
Okay.
It's not enough.
And just let me
speaking from
quickly
it.
ask, when he was speaking to these people, Emmanuel, could you remember some of the words he said?
No, I was not paying
Attention
to such details.
Or it was not with
No,
sound.
it was no. He was talking. I was seeing him talking. To
Yeah, but was
a lot-
what he was saying covered, or maybe in the news channel where you saw this, the voice of the presenter was actually it was a coverage of him speaking,
Yes,
and his words were audible.
Yes.
So I agree. I know
thought they held a meeting recently. Virtual meeting recently with
most of
State to America.
Sorry, Doc.
recently.
Yeah, but did you watch it?
I saw part of it. Yes.
Because
Where?
most of the
Channels.
Channel showed him speaking
exactly
to.
Yes.
Most of the time, the president addresses the country live. They play videos to us. Yes, it is not like MTA is there, newspaper, everybody. Okay, Mr. President steps out to speak, and directly Nigerians are listening. No, they would have recorded. It's recorded. So I know what Annie is saying. That have we seen, let it be lively. Let it be played as he's saying it. It is being transmitted live and not recorded.
Okay,
that's what I was
I'm not an expert in that.
Let me get to Dr.
What I saw when I saw it.
Well, first and foremost.
Oh Lord, go ahead.
I think part of the problem we have in this country is that we make issues out of things that are seemingly not issues. I see persons who forget their role in certain activities when they want to come and cry the outcomes of their past activities. It was interesting to see the like of Abaribe, who is the minority leader, come out to talk. Abaribe has been in that Senate for 16 years, if I have my records correctly. And I have not seen anything Abaribe had moved in that house as regards curbing insecurity in this country.
His people still want him there. He's voted in.
Of course, because I've said it before severally here that those that are in power in Nigeria will continue to make sure they keep the people gagged and then they keep themselves afloat there.
Same with the presidency?
Of course, yes, everybody, all of them.
Okay.
In power.
Right.
And so they'll keep doing what they'll keep doing that as it were. But let's get back to the facts. You are not seen. What is being seen? Is seen means going to sit on with press every day. Is being seen or acting or performing. Does performing mean visiting sites of crime and talking? For me, no. For me, no. There's no effect whatsoever. We found a lot of
For me, yes.
Oh yes, you have your right.
Yeah.
We found. I'm coming. I'm talking.
We're glad to know.
Yes, thank you. I found governors in these places who move around every other day without doing nothing, and they've been blabbing and talking all the rubbish.
And some of us like the fact that he's speaking to us.
And I'm telling you that it's not all of us. So one person cannot stay somewhere. I'm saying
as a caucus, it's not one person. That
caucus
the caucus came up with a position.
You know what I'm saying? That caucus is the creator of the problem we have in this country.
They did not tell Muhammadu Buhari. They didn't tell Muhammadu Buhari not to address the people. And there is only Femi Adesina and only Garuba that will continue to address Nigerians. They did not vote for those ones to address the people.
So they have every right. Because that's what it's paid for. Anybody that is a bitter about that can remain where he is.
Nigerians are.
I am
A
a Nigerian.
Very valid.
And
a number of Nigerians are not.
Many of us are
and those who are not encouraged by this have a right. No, they have a right to veer.
No, go ahead.
They have a right.
But you can't even perform what you want to do.
But you can't blame them and say, because of what you did in the past,
that's
why this is going on.
You created a problem.
No, they didn't.
They did.
No. They didn't take the mic away from the president. I'm listening to you. They did not take the mic away from the president.
Insecurity that is the problem.
Is he dealing with insecurity?
Insecurity is the problem.
If there's insecurity and he's dealing with it, why is he not speaking to the people?
Insecurity is created by the same person and making noise now.
No, that's not true.
I'm telling you.
No.
They
have not.
That's what I want.
That has not stopped the president from addressing the people physically.
Is not solving the problem.
No, but he's not even solving the problem.
I said the problem, he's solving the problem.
He's not solving, he's not speaking.
He has worked so far, what nobody else. From 1999.
Tell me one thing he has done.
Tell
me one thing he's done that is working.
Annie,
when it comes to insecurity.
Annie, will you allow me to talk so that we'll get our facts straight?
Yeah, go ahead.
The president is calling Nigeria was created by PDP.
Hold on. No. The question I ask is what you said he's solving. What? No, you're going back to PDP because you said PDP solved it. What has the president done? That is relevant. What has he done?
You won't see.
What has he done?
You won't see if you don't know the nobility of the president.
So tell us what he has done.
So hold on and listen.
No, don't take us back to history.
No, you must.
That the history is
just. You need to listen to what happened.
That means there's nothing he has done.
He has done so much.
Tell us one thing.
I just told you.
Nothing. You said PDP caused it. Tell us what he has done to fix it.
Please listen. As at 1999 till today, prior to 1999, what does our men have at the fighting thing? I remember very well. Hold on.
What do they have now?
Far better.
What do they
have?
Far
better.
Tell me what they have.
Better gunboats, better fighting materials.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, it may not be enough. And that is because the resources to do that will not also be available. From 1999, we sold crude in this country for $120 per barrel. We had more than enough resources. What did you do with it? Here, within his government, you sold crude for $25 per barrel. And yet, he has moved from 0.1 to this. And we're looking at how to measure what you've done.
So you say you've bought more equipment.
We're looking at it.
You've bought more equipment now, and yet the gravity of the crime keeps rising.
Of course, yes.
So, of what effect has been? Of what effect has been this equipment that you say you have bought?
You're not listening to me. If you throw X thing into, it's like throwing just a seed into a drum, a pool of water. A drop of water into a drum. And you want the drum to get filled overnight, it's not going to take that time for you. Given the resources we have as of today, and what he has done, compared to what people have done, take from 1999 for instance, when we had more resources, I can tell you that the president has done super very well.
Yeah, you keep saying that, and I'm trying to get to the point where with what he has done, has helped us or leveraged us from the level of insecurity
It
that
could
we
be
face
far
now?
worse than this. That's what I'm telling you.
No, we can't tell now
I'm
because we
telling
don't
you.
know.
I'm saying
You are saying it could have, but we're not in the could have. We're in the present. So with the
if
situation
this has
on
happened
ground,
from this,
what has
if
he
this
done?
improvement has been done in a very simple thing to take it. If this improvement has been done on arms alone, let's use arms alone. If this has been done, I'm coming.
Blame someone else but yourself. This is what you're doing.
That's not.
If we had bought equipment, we wouldn't be fighting this.
That's what you won't get there.
But we are fighting it now. So what are you
Because
doing
we
now?
don't have enough resources.
It's even because of this you were voted into power.
You don't have enough
It
resources.
was the very
Who
reason
took the
you came on
resources?
board. It was because there was this level of insecurity. You said, I want to be voted in.
I said, crude was sold. Our only major means of survival in this country is oil. So what is the value of oil as of today and value of oil as of then? We don't know who took the resources.
Okay. Let me ask you a simple
Go ahead.
question, Doc. See, let's even agree that Buhari has performed excellently.
I've not said so.
No, you didn't.
I've not said so.
You say super. You didn't just say excellently. You say super.
I said comparatively. I didn't say excellently. Well, I also showed you. I said if this had happened, X, Y, Z.
Doc, it's Emmanuel Dugwe that is talking.
Yeah, good.
Let me ask you the question. Now, I said, assuming, mark it there.
Yes.
Assuming that Buhari has performed excellently. That's what I said.
Okay.
And I stand by it. Now, is this still not good? Or would it be out of place for, since now we have insecurity rife in the country, whatever reasons may have brought this insecurity upon us. Now, is it out of place, for instance, when take for instance, the way students are maybe adopted in wherever, he shows face one day, that apart. Is it also out of place? Would it have been out of place, let me put it that way, that the president also come out, knowing that stringent cries are coming from here and there, a country that he is leading, would it have been out of place to address them intermittently? Remember, he cannot continue addressing every day, but at least intermittently address them and said, see, we are making plans, this and that, you give tips.
Your question is whether
Yes.
it's out of place, and I'll answer it straight away. It's not out of place.
Thank you very much.
Let me tell you this.
And that is why
listen now.
No.
Let me see that and I answered you. So listen to my background. I said it's not out of place. And I'm also asking. My lawyer friend did ask something here. Is it legally in place that if he didn't do this, therefore this is this? The answer to that again straight away is it is not. And listen,
No,
that people know a way of managing a system does not make that managing style the best. It doesn't. I am not saying it is. I mean, it's empathy. That's what it is.
Good.
It is empathy.
So that we know that you have the interest of the people you are leading.
It's empathy. But I've also asked a simple question. To what extent does empathy resolve a problem? That's what I've asked. There's a problem, a bigger problem in our hand, and we're holding the things that means nothing.
Doctor,
your house is
let me
burning.
answer.
You're saying nobody's crying for you.
You answer
You're
the
putting out the fire. You're saying nobody's crying for you. You're shouting that people are supposed to be crying for me. They're not crying for me because and your house is burning. People should be helping you find ways of putting out the fire and not crying for you. That's my concern. Yes, crying with you is okay, but that is not the real thing. It's how to put out the fire that is the problem.
Empathy spurs the person to do more than he's doing because truly he is empathetic. He can go extra length to do something. Yes.
My position is very simple. At the stage we are, putting out this fire is our biggest problem. And every right-thinking Nigerian, whether opposition or not, should be tinkering with putting out the fire.
And I think that
if people come to play cheap politics as they are doing,
and I think every right-thinking Nigerian, every right-thinking Nigerian, right-thinking Nigerian is also capable of saying the fire that you have now, you're doing nothing about it.
And they are part of
that
people that
still
created the
makes
fire.
them right-thinking
They burned the
Nigerians.
guns around all these zones. It was during that tenure. We saw them.
Whose fault is it now?
They
If you're on
created
board,
them.
no, if
They
you're
didn't
on board
start
now
to
and you're
burn us
unable
now.
to do
It's come
anything.
to burn us and the person is merely playing
You
to the
voted.
gallery.
You said you wanted to come into power to deal with the problem.
yes.
You saw it.
Please
you were on
join
the
me to
sideline.
put it off
And we
and
put
stop
you
playing to
in.
the gallery.
No. You've been here 6 years
It
plus.
will burn you too.
7 years.
You were there
It's
16
burning.
years.
It's burning me now.
You were there 16 years.
And that's why we gave you the chance.
burn all of us.
That's why we gave you the chance. 7 years now, we're even in worse fire.
See what we're
7 years later, this is worse fire.
Played to the gallery.
Good. That's what I
7 years, yes.
I said we're being super worse than this.
But we don't know.
It's doing.
We don't know if we're
We are
going to be
waiting.
super. We
We
don't
are
know.
waiting.
What we know for sure,
No,
Dr. Irene, what we know for sure is that you're the one here on board, and we're being burnt.
Consume all of us. It will consume all of us.
And the very reason why we're blaming leadership,
The more we keep
the
playing to the
reason
gallery,
why we're blaming,
all of
we're
us.
not playing to the gallery.
Let's
No,
continue.
for Nigerians who believe
That's
that
Nigeria
nothing is
we
being
are.
done cannot be that they're playing to gallery. So everybody
playing to
must
gallery.
agree to you that they're doing well before they're not playing
We'll
to
get there
gallery.
to all of them
But that's
involved.
the same thing you're saying. You are playing to gallery because
We're
you're
born.
part of the system on board.
See,
That's
see.
why you
What?
think you want to favor them. You are the one who's
We will
playing to
all
gallery
born.
now.
What I'm even wondering.
The sooner you all know this too, the better. So that
continue.
you heed to those who say nothing is happening and start doing the right things.
No,
Because we see
something
the
is
fire.
happening.
We feel the
People
fire.
have created
Something
fire.
is happening.
What I'm even
I've been to the
wondering, Doc, what I'm even wondering is when
Who
we
knows
say the PDP created this problem, who really is the PDP? Is it the Rotimi Amechi that was in PDP that
The ones
designed the
that
APC?
they swapped back and forth.
Let us also put this thing in perspective.
That's Rotimi for you.
Who really is the PDP?
Call me. Sorry, I mentioned the
Because
names.
almost.
No. That's what me for you. Call
PDP,
me and let me
APC,
mention
is
the
the
names.
difference.
I'm on air. Call me. If you want to take the first for instance, I'll call the names.
Go on.
I've said it severally.
I'm listening.
All the created the one in River State. In Bayelsa, I always created it. And I've said it severally. They are PDP leaders. Obasanjo is playing to the gallery where he is today. They were here. They created them. And I've said that severally.
You see what
Abadio did not.
Wait, okay, well,
Of course
hold on.
he did. What
Just
did
a
he do?
moment.
Of course he did.
Just a moment. Dr. Irian,
So how
a moment then.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
You see the
I'm saying
problem.
the bigger fire you
Dr.
have.
Irian, just a moment, please.
Think if you
The
check
issue
the
we
evidence
have
of-
here now is the same thing people have complained about, and that is what we're trying to highlight. You cannot say, I want to come in and fix a system. You can't say, look, I will fix the system. You come on board, system is not being fixed, and people who complain, you say, well, you're complaining, you know that it was you that did this. We know we did it. We know Nigerians caused it. And you said you're here to fix it. You can't be grappling for excuses.
said do not
You can't be
complain.
grappling. No, that's what you're doing now. You're
That's
saying
where
don't
you're wrong.
complain. You're saying this
I
one.
said do not play to the gallery. Come and let's fix this problem.
How do you want them to fix it?
A very simple thing. I'll tell you.
No, I'll tell you. Hold on.
Abandon's in the house.
Ababe
What
has held
have you
several.
been?
Ababe
No, no,
has been in
I'm
the
giving you a
house
suggestion
doing
now.
what he was voted to do as a
Hold on,
legislator.
let me listen now.
As
I'm
a
using it. You
legislator,
asked me, how do I
Ababe
want them
has
to
been
come?
in the house
You
doing
asked
what
me,
he was
how do I
voted
want
to
them to
do.
come? Let me answer you.
No,
Very
don't
simple
answer
way.
me. I'm done with that question. Don't answer
You
me.
wanted to see how do
Are
I
you
want
really-
them to come to resolve the problem together?
No, see, Doc, are you
When
really telling
the
me that
PDP was
people
there,
get pissed
did
off and
they
say
invite the APC to come on board to have conversations? They didn't.
They are
They
wrong.
tried to do it the way they wanted to.
What that-
Now the APC has found itself there. Go ahead and fix the issue.
If you can't, you resign.
If you can't, give room.
Nobody is living there.
No.
They will remain there till the end of their tenures. And every Nigerian that is not ready to help solve the problem
You see,
will remain there.
It's a party affair here.
That's the mindset of all of you.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Oh, yes,
nobody
it's a party
is
Nobody's
affair.
living there.
That means whether good or
The fire
bad,
will
that's what
consume.
you have decided.
The
It's
fire
our
will
thought.
consume
It
them
will
right
consume all of
there.
us.
No, it will consume.
No.
Those
It
in
will
power.
not.
All of us.
No,
It
the
will
funny
not.
thing is
Let's
that
sit down.
when the fire starts
We
to
saw
consume,
part of it just
when the
recently.
fire
Did
starts
you
to
see?
consume, it is those in power it takes away
my
first.
God.
You didn't know?
The NSAS touch, how many persons in power did NSAS touch?
You didn't know that it is the people
How
in
many
power first,
persons in
and that's
power
why
did
they
NSAS
targeted.
touch?
That's why they targeted the security
How
outfit
many of them did
because
they
they were
touch?
the immediate representatives
Just
of
hold on
power.
and watch what will happen. Is this contract?
You continue to hide behind your faults. You will never get away from
Doc
it.
said
You would
nobody's
never.
living there.
I'm not going to nobody will leave. That's the prayer. Nobody's living. That's the prayer.
It's 11 o'clock.
Oh my God.
Sit down tight on top of your phones.
You go see how it be
Nah.
finally. All of us will consume.
That means
Come and resolve the problem together.
No, we're not coming to resolve
Then
it. You
remain there.
wanted to be in power to fix it. Fix
Remain
it.
there.
Fix it.
See, it's reached us. Whether we are doing it well or not, we are the
We'll die here. We'll die here. As incompetent as you may be. Nobody created problems. APC
I
and
have told
PDP.
you, followership.
I know that you
There's
can.
no followership.
There's no
There's
leadership.
no leadership without
There's no
followership.
leadership in the
There's
first
no
place.
leadership without followership.
There's no leadership in the first place. So where's the followers supposed to come from?
So I just told-
Who is it? There's no leadership.
There are no Nigerians.
There's no leadership.
There are no Nigerians.
If there's leadership, we'll see followers.
There are no Nigerians. Let's get to the
A
facts.
leadership system can expect to have followers. What are you following?
It's hydra-headed.
You have to have followers before you are a leader. Alright. There you have that.
I'm here with you.
Let's move on to
They
something.
find cheap way of getting power.
Yes, we're not looking
You
for cheap way.
remain
No,
there, you won't get
it's
power.
not cheap way of
It's
getting
cheap
power.
way.
It's making you that
It's
is in
not
power.
addressing the
Well,
issue.
it's addressing
Very
it. What are
cheap.
you doing? I asked you now
Cheap.
earlier. You said
I've
you bought
told you.
equipment. Equipment that you bought, you have not. The issues are still escalating.
What escalated
Your
it.
president, our president, because that's the truth, he's my president. Recently now, at the release of Afaka people, is appealing. I appeal to those who are still appealing. You have the Navy, you have the Army, you are appealing. That's
When
the
we
statement
took
from
over-
the president.
when we took over-
appealing
when we took over- when
to
they-
people who are kidnapping and killing us. I appeal to you to release. Really?
Who is keeping the persons that are kidnapping? Is it not the people?
I don't know. And he's
Do they-
appealing.
do they live on the
He's
side?
appealing to them
They
to
live with
release.
you.
So he's begging them, please,
You keep them, you
please
close them.
release,
And
please
yet you're
release the
crying.
other Nigerians. Please now, release them. Release them, I beg you. As president.
Create it and hold
I'm
them.
appealing,
And wait for
I'm
the president to
appealing
come
to
to your
you.
house and cover you.
That is why we elected him now. So if he's
keep waiting.
incompetent, he's
Are you
incompetent.
saying in all this you don't see maybe any problem?
No,
at
he
all?
doesn't.
Oh,
none.
And
Doesn't.
None.
But
That's
he
what we
said
hear.
he doesn't have, and there's no
You don't create problem. They don't create problem. Come on, let's solve the problem. Otherwise, to consume all of us. And I'm saying it. I'm saying it.
Yeah,
To consume all
like
of us.
a broken record.
It's not a
actually.
blame thing. Oh my God. That.
No, I will blame leadership. Really.
Keep blaming.
You will
Okay,
blame
confuse you
leadership. No, I will blame leadership. Leadership has not given the room for
Keep
that. sort of
blaming
action
until
to
it consumes
take
all of
place.
us.
If the leadership, how so incapable?
To what
And
extent?
then
To the extent that we're still suffering
what
this
do you
worse than. To the
I
extent
said
that we're
it would have
still
been 1
suffering
million
this.
times worse than this.
But we don't have that
I
reality.
have the reality.
We don't have
I
that
saw
reality.
it. I have the reality.
Dog,
I
these
saw
are the
it.
protesters. You people
I
are using
ran.
to deceive Nigerians.
That is it.
I
Forget
saw
that
it.
one.
It's as
I
simple
ran.
as that.
I saw it. I
It is
ran.
not a reality.
In this place, I saw it. I ran.
No, it's
It
not a
was not
reality.
it to come.
It is not a reality.
It will come.
Because we never got
too bad when
fought with
for
Dr.
me.
Emmanuel Irayema.
For me,
Don't get
like
No,
I
no,
said,
no.
PP caucus.
Yeah.
To the extent that they are not seeing President Buhari, he's not interacting with the nation. He's leading. That is their reason of saying he's an absentee president.
All right, then let me get your thoughts.
Well, for me, part
Dr.
of
Irayema,
leadership,
really? All right, let me get your
part
thoughts.
of
Precious
leadership is
UDK.
taking responsibilities.
Yes.
The APC should be bold enough to take
The
responsibility.
bull by the horn.
In
Deal
the-
with the problem.
in what is going on in the country, because sincerely,
Yes.
things are going worse, and we must own up to that and tackle it as quickly as we can.
All right, then. We got your position there. And then let's get back to you, Dr. Emmanuel Irayema. A quick wrap up on this.
Nigerians must understand one thing. That pointing fingers will not resolve any problem anytime, any day. To solve a problem requires understanding where the problem came from. To do comparison, proper comparison, we must take a bull for a bull. Otherwise, we're making a whole lot of mistakes. We've gone far in attempting to resolve, but we require everybody to be involved in the resolution of the crisis in our hands.
Let's quickly. Yes, the reason why we're not going to spend much time.
God forgive me.
Took too much time arguing over. Don't critique. Anyway, so this is for real talk now. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll be back for real talk.
Real talk.
But
It is we maintain that is supposed to push the followers.
Today, 95.1 FM, we bring you insights, intrigues, and happenings on the local politics of the Niger Delta.
But if that property you have somewhere worth that 1 billion is tied to a fraud of state money, if you can prove it's your personal money, you didn't commit any crime.
Join us every weekday, 9:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Real talk. Keeping it real.
So 10 minutes has gone past 11. Real quickly now, quickly. River State government has approved contracts for the construction of Sir Peter Odili Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center at the cost of 25.9 billion naira. The Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center, which will be sited at Rumokuta in Obiakwa local government area, is expected to be completed within 14 months. That's a year and 2 months. River State Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Chikwe, who briefed journalists after the River State Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor on Wednesday, explained that the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is to be built and constructed by and furnished by Julius Berger Nigeria Limited. Julius Berger. Somebody told me it's Julius Berger. Julius Berger, Nigeria Limited. Chike disclosed that the center will have modular theaters as well as the necessary state-of-the-art medical equipment, radiotherapy, and other equipment for nuclear medicine. Julius Berger will be given 70% of the total cost. The cost of the contract for the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is 25,959,139,999 naira, 5 kobo. Commissioner of Health expressed the optimism that when the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is completed, it will boost medical tourism in River State. And this is supposed to be located in Rumepirikam is where they'll have the 9th flyover. This will be domiciled in... I'm looking for the place now where it's supposed to be. Rumokuta, yes. Yes, it's Rumokuta. It's going to be in Rumokuta. But the 9th flyover is at Rumepirikam. And they just got an approval for the 9th flyover for Rumepirikam. It's to be built by Julius Berger still. All right, so Emmanuel, let me quickly get your thoughts on this here. Though I'm super excited for the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic Center, especially as, we keep traveling out of Nigeria at any given chance for ailments like this. If we continue to build one, at least in every state, we might just see a reduction in the number of Nigerians who have to go out, and the brain drain, because some doctors also need to be in the right environment to be able to carry out with their career. So for me, it's a plus. But let me get your thoughts here.
Well, I must say thank you for River State government.
Why? Why do you think?
I'm coming because whatever.
It's not his money.
No. At least, no. If they stay there without doing anything, nobody holds them. Nothing anybody can do.
There's something we can do. Let's not make it look like we're helpless people. There's something we can do.
Emmanuel Ndukwe is talking out of experience. Several governments around the country that have not done anything. No, I've not seen what they did to them. I've not. It's not
because
that people
we don't
cannot
want to. Yes.
Now we don't want to, and so we keep on this carefree attitude. Let it be in the way they have left it. Others will go and do the same, and nobody will do anything. So for me, anybody that does even road, I'll say thank you. Now, why I'm saying thank you is that a lot of medical tourism is abroad. I don't think one will be seeing this cancer center built in Port Harcourt here, and then whether you are coming from Abuja or wherever, you go to another place, unless you somehow want to blow the money outside. But having said that, my problem is that Nigerian governments, they have a way with themselves. You remember vividly when Akpabio was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. He finished a project of hospital project and all that. And they said it was world class.
Yeah.
I think that was just the title. But Akpabio himself had a weather accident or so in Abuja. The world class was here. We took it to outside Nigeria, leaving the world class medical facility. So I hope this one in River State will be built in a way that it will stand to be whatever, because they've not said it's world class, this particular River State one. Now, whatever class it will be, whether River State class or whatever, I hope it will stand to mirror it and then be exactly what they have said. That is just my worry. Let government plan it so that it will indeed help Nigeria and River State.
All right, call your thoughts. And the 9th flyover?
Well, the 9th flyover, we are already known to be a state of flyovers. Yes. And so one will not make much difference. It's just that, we've added to the ones we had. And so let it go on. Let it just go on.
All right. Okay. Let me get to you, Precious UTK.
I want to thank His Excellency.
Oh, sweet Lord, another thank you.
The Executive Governor of River State.
Before you move on, why are you thanking him?
Well, I'm thanking him because this particular project is well thought out. It is, in fact, go a long way in ameliorating the challenges, the health challenges of Rivers people and Nigerians in general.
Okay, so do we say then we want to thank the government of...
I was... You
no,
didn't allow me. I said I want to thank the government.
No, you say what of the governor? Why are you thanking
the government
because he was a think tank.
No, I was coming to that.
No, now, you selected him first. Like there was a special thank you that goes to him.
He's the head of the team. He is the head of the team.
Okay.
You know, most times when we say, when Chelsea remove their coach, they are the Champions League final. So maybe sometimes the head has a whole lot to do. So I want to thank His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Chief Ezenwanye Sonwike, and the government of Rivers State. I congratulate the people of Rivers State. This is a landmark achievement when it comes to fruition.
Thank you for remembering us.
Yes. When it will come to fruition.
Thank you list.
When it will come to fruition, we will indeed enjoy from the services that will come there from. The truth is, yes, we criticize the government, but when the government does well, we should also commend the same government. The cancer center is one of the very best I have heard from this government.
You know what I think about commending? I could say they've done well. They've done well, but I'm trying to separate. You've done well with I thank you. For me, commending is saying yes, they've done well. But when I want to say thank you, I don't. I find that why am I thanking a government that is supposed to be spending my money?
Yes, a government. As I'm an honorable man, and using the word thanks has never been a problem to me. a government like this, of course, I would agree with you in theory that we cannot say we are helpless people. What can we do? But in practice, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that we can do.
Yeah, that's the reason why we need to wake up to realize what we can do, because we've continued to carry on that narrative. You can't do anything. You can't do anything. And we don't know that what we're doing is tying ourselves even tighter with the chains. This is what we'll bequeath to our children. You can't do anything. We can do something. So you have used the funds, my tax money, to decide to create a center where I can access it. I'm going to pay. It's not as if it's free too. I'll go to this same center, access the facilities you put there, and pay.
But at least you
and
pay
I think,
less.
yes, I'll commend. Well, we don't know yet how that's going to pan out.
No, if you could just support that with flight tickets and all that, paying in dollars, it definitely will be less here. You know, but for me, yes, a government does something with our resources, and whether we like it or not, we shouldn't thank them. But in Nigeria here, where government victimizes almost everything, even though you're in private sector, and you do anything, before you know there's a road leading to your company, they may decide not to fix it. So our problem is just peculiar. So
that means that in thanking, we're admitting that we're helpless people.
In theory, we are not. In practice, we are.
Okay.
I'm a very practical person.
All right.
You know, so we thank the government, and the governor has done well. The people of Rivers, the government of Rivers say, okay, let me preferably use the word Annie would want me to.
Yeah.
The government, the government. Who is the government of Rivers State?
The Commissioner of Health is one of them. He's
appointed
government.
by the governor.
But he's the government.
The government of the
spokesperson of the governor to his government. Just the same way that he will argue that additional and who continue to speak for the president, and they are the presidency. The same way too, I think that you have members of cabinet who are government of Rivers State.
I thank the government and people of Rivers State, and I congratulate all of us. I want to pray God to give us the necessary enablement to complete that project and put it into practice.
Okay.
For the flyover, the 9th flyover, Wimpy Junction.
Yeah.
That is Wimpy by George, actually. Yeah. I am very, very elated. In fact, I don't know those who use that. You would have seen that particular place, there is no time that there is no huge traffic presence there. So it's commendable. Most times we do these things not for the present, but for the future. Every government is a government that does projects that are sustainable. That
but really, what traffic is in that place, if not because of the several other constructions going on that has driven traffic that way? What traffic is there usually?
It's been there. Even before we came on board, it's usually been there.
That's what I'm saying. If you've now opened up other parts where you think you have free-flowing traffic, don't you think effectively you've taken away the traffic that's been building up there?
No, what I'm trying to say is, even before we've not started the road construction.
I agree with you. And I'm saying that part of the road construction going on allows for easier flow of traffic.
Yeah.
And that means more people might want to use and apply that route. And therefore, the number of vehicles that will have been heading towards that path, that road in in Rume Pericom don't have to use that road anymore. And my thoughts are, let's see what stage we are when you have open roads and see where you have another bottleneck and start off. I'm thinking that we have too many following each other when even the previous contracts have not been completed, so we don't know how free the roads are now.
Well, fortunately, I was.
But we have to do everything in this administration. All must be done in this administration.
No, the governor is one man who starts a project and completes it.
That's what we're saying.
So he said he will not leave any uncompleted project for his successor. So I commend the government.
He should stop doing bridges. He should just go and do more hospitals, maybe.
No, we need that part. That one in that Wimpy Junction is necessitated by every reason. I commend him for that.
Precious UDK, we got your position there. Dr. Emmanuel Uriah.
Interesting and fine. First, like everybody had done, I would join the commendation queue to the extent that it's a specialist hospital that is required not just by the state, but by the country as it were. I'm not sure we have more than one or two of that kind in the country. Yeah. And so ordinary thinking for me is right. However, I am constrained to ask the question, do we have a river state or an Ikwere state? And this is something that must be sunk in the heads of every right-thinking Rivers person. At one end, we are trying to say we want to decongest Port Harcourt. At the other end, we are causing more congestion of Port Harcourt. A specialist hospital of this nature, wouldn't it have been better domiciled outside Port Harcourt to grow somewhere? Because for sure, the fact that such a specialist hospital exists somewhere will simply mean an opening up of an area. To what extent has government thought in this direction? I've argued on issue of flyover in Port Harcourt. I have attempted to look at the flyovers we already have and whether or not they are solving the problems that we think. Go to Garrison today and ask yourself if the problem of jam pack, congestion at that place have been relieved. Of course, somebody will tell me it's because they're still walking around Waterline. Fine, we're waiting. I've looked at Atlari. Julius Berger, I know, and I keep thinking if this Port Harcourt Julius Berger is different from the Julius Berger that we know. Under all the bridges they have created are blind spots that are likely to kill people unnecessarily. Every Rivers person will have seen or heard the accident that occurred on the Rumokoro Bridge. And I wonder what technical thing they did there. It's not too different from the way the Garrison own is. It's not too different from the way the one at Atlari is. If you enter any of those under those flyovers and you want to do a left turn.
There's a blind spot.
It's a blind spot.
So you're right.
And I don't know what Julebeja is doing and what the technical persons in Julebeja are doing to those things. I have said the congesting traffic in Port Harcourt is not supposed to be inside Port Harcourt itself. It's at the flanks. Anybody that's close to the government should tell His Excellency and the team that we want to decongest Port Harcourt. We must ask ourselves, where are the majority of the persons in Port Harcourt and where do they go to most times? And then see how we can open up roads around the flank. How do somebody move from Borokiri, for instance, and say he's going to Onne without necessarily coming to Odili Road or Aba Road? How do somebody leave Borokiri, for instance, to say he's going to Choba without coming through Mile 3, Ikwere Road and Aba Road? How will somebody coming from Obibo who says he's going to Choba not come through the normal Aba Road? These are the things we should think for a proper opening of the town. Otherwise, we may be just building monuments that will be of no real value in the long run.
Okay, we got your thoughts there.
But sorry, just a minute. I think that Doc would actually have made his submission without having to say Ikwere State. Because let me underscore the fact that
Precious UDK, where are you from?
The federal.
I just wanted to ask.
The capital of Rivers State
is Ikwere.
Is Port Harcourt. And Port Harcourt is huge. Port Harcourt is Ikwere.
Please go and check your map very well.
Now, it's
for
like
what? You don't agree that Port Harcourt is
Ikwere, please.
When you go to,
it's not
like saying that project should not be started in Abuja. Because Abuja is Hausa.
And that's the problem you have here every other day.
Abuja is not Hausa.
That's why
Abuja is where?
That's why
Abuja is Gwari.
It's Gwari after all.
It's Gwari.
That's why
Gwari.
So
the
where
tribe.
No, now let me.
What are you talking about?
Is
then?
it in northern part of Nigeria or southern part of Nigeria?
It's in the middle, actually.
And that's why
in the middle.
Hold on,
let's not.
And even at that, that's why every other day. That's why every other day.
Whenever you look at it, it is north. Even though when you even talk about Kogi,
it's in the middle.
Will you say Kogi is not?
Kogi is not north. Kogi is not north. Please don't put me in the north.
I'm coming.
Kogi is not north.
Hold on.
Niger is equal to some extent since they are not.
However you look at it.
No, you are using your southern eye to judge that, and I'm telling you, we're from that place, and we're not north.
Okay, so how many? If we say northern states are how many?
But they count it. That's what I'm saying. They count it 19 northern states.
Exactly. That is where I'm flowing with that.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm flowing.
That is the same thing. That is the same thing. Hold on. That's the same thing from the south.
At least I have the permission to
the
speak.
same thing we talk from the south.
Can you exercise some patience, please?
Let's allow.
So what I'm trying to say is we can actually make our submissions without having ethnic colorations, religious colorations
but that is what is happening.
Added to it. If a project is cited in a particular place, you could say, why should a project be cited in Port Harcourt, in the main stream of Port Harcourt, without taking it out? But having to bring in Ikwere or any other, for me, it doesn't make any
because that's a sentiment a lot of people share here in Rivers State.
And that is why we need to extrude
but you can't see it's the same thing we argued now with impeaching the president on certain things and not. I don't think that people who see that way, you don't see their validity in their arguments. Yes, you may not agree with it, but they have a valid argument there. They have. You have constructed so much and you've concentrated on an area, and it just seems as if you're doing that because you have a particular tie to Ikwere people. He's an Ikwere man, and these are judgments that human beings would do. You can't take it away from them.
No, you have the right to make your judgment. I give that to you, but such judgment must be,
I think what you should have done here, rather than say, he can bring in an Ikwere coloration to that, is to say and argue on counteract his argument with saying, well, it's not an Ikwere issue. It is more of a capital issue where people are more domiciled.
I have said that.
No, that is what you're saying. He shouldn't bring. He has every right to bring an Ikwere coloration if he wants to.
He has the right to say whatever he has to say. It's the opinion, but I think that that opinion is not justified by reason.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. The reason will have been what you should have just portrayed. Look, it's not an Ikwere issue. It is because of this. No, not precious reason.
Let me help you quickly. Even the argument of capital does not exist in any way. Perhaps people have refused to understand.
Port Harcourt exists.
Please go and check the map. Go and check the map of Port Harcourt and tell me where Ikwere fits in, or what percentage of Port Harcourt is Ikwere. And I tell you,
I don't know. Hold on. When you say Ikwere, are we looking at Ikwere local government area?
Ikwere as a tribe.
Okay. Are they not in Port Harcourt?
What proportion of them?
Doc, where is Port Harcourt?
Okay, we're looking at Falga 1 and 2 as Port Harcourt, or where are we looking at as Port Harcourt?
Port Harcourt, Obiapo, the rest of them.
No. Obiapo is not Port Harcourt. That's what
I'm saying. Yeah, Obiapo is.
Remove Obiapo.
He will make, if he should win.
That was during their debate.
Good. And there is absolutely nothing wrong if Port Harcourt is left and then the other.
I think the governor at one point said he will continue to do these things. Anybody who doesn't like it.
He told to some persons that are not from Ikwere State.
So if you don't like it, vote for another governor. They'll take that.
That is it. Well, like I said, let
the governor has done no wrong actually. The governor has done no wrong.
Legally no wrong.
If it's legally no wrong, then there's no wrong. The only wrong is the wrong sanctioned by law.
No, precious, please.
Where's morality?
Leave that.
Morality and law are standing walls apart.
That's what I'm saying. But here you are as humans. You say we're throwing away morality. Because look, I'm just saying as humans. Do we say you look? Because if it's the law, we'll throw away morality.
See,
law and morality are walls apart.
It's just a question I asked. I said, as humans in a society, do we say, well, we'll throw away morality because
there
this
are
is just the
norms
law.
of decency.
For me,
and I think that when you look at the law itself has its roots from morality.
Of course.
Anyways, it's okay. Let's not go there. Let's go. I didn't have time to open the phone lines, and it's time for Entertainment Express. So I'm going to appeal to the lovers of Entertainment Express. You have to forgive Dr. Emmanuel Ira and Emma.
Yes,
He's the cause of all this today.
Emmanuel and I,
we don't used to be like this. We don't used to do this kind of thing. We'll come here and do our show, we're out of here. Dr. Emmanuel Ira has come today as arbitrator that he is, a mediator.
I was mediating the whole of
He mediated. He mediated. That we should not criticize, so if not, it will consume all of us. This is where we are. We are being consumed now. We are out of time. But I would not allow this program to end without getting to listen to the parts of our listeners. So I appeal to the entertainment lovers. Allow me to take your minutes, and Dave will do the very best to bring you a compounded, explosive program at 6:30, or maybe even at 12:30. He can come back at 12:30 and do what he should have done at 11:30. So please, I apologize on my part, on Dave's part, and the station's part, and Dr. Emmanuel Uraino's part. So let's quickly open the phone line 0810-9510. 951 or 0817-000951. Don't forget that you can also go on our Facebook page, Today 95.1 FM, or Twitter. Our handle there on Twitter is @TodayFM951. And let's get your reaction to some of the issues that we've been talking about. First of all, we spoke about impeachment of the president. We spoke about APC caucus who told the PDP, Nehi, you should not say we have a president who is absent. And I'm saying, is that grounds for even seeking for an impeachment before, we start talking about whether it's an incompetent administration or not, blah, blah, blah. But let's get your thoughts. You've been listening keenly, I know. And then for Real Talk, we spoke about the governor here in Rivers State who has approved, or the cabinet have approved, the sums of money to build a cardiovascular and cancer center, and also the 9th bridge in Rumia Pericom. Let's get your thoughts. 0810-9510-951 or 0817-000951. Now I'm going to come back after a quick break to take your calls. Don't go anywhere.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Madam, now wetin you wan do with this blade waiting for your hand?
Not to circumcise the pikin.
There is no need to subjugate woman in that manner. Female genital mutilation is a crime against God and humanity. One day, one show, one stage, two plays. Penuela Events and River State Arts Council presents Evil Blade and Orukuru. You have taken everything from us, white man. What else do you want from us? Depart from here, now! Cast Dan the Humorous, Ibinabofi Bresima, Bobby Ogoloma, Ovunda Ihunwa, Karina Israel, Alex Bobo. Directed by Eze Ekegu, produced by Churchill and written by Amatu Braid and Professor Henry Belgam. Date, 16th of May, 2021. Venue, Theatre Hall, Osney Place, Abacha Road, Port Harcourt. Time 6 p.m. Tickets, Rug 5,000, VIP 20,000. For inquiry, call 0803 702 6414. Do you want a theater experience? Don't miss this.
This event is proudly supported by Today 95.1 FM.
And we're back. We're back. 0810-9510-951 or 0817-000951. Hello.
Annie, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Yeah, Annie Kingsley is my name. And Buhari is really absent from duty. President Muhammad Buhari is really absent from duty, even though he's right there in Asorok. And he's been absent is just as a result of gross administrative incompetence. How imagine killings and kidnappings happening just like a joke. The whole thing is now looking like a joke under a government led by a retired army general. I mean, it's a big shame for somebody who made 3 unsuccessful attempts to become president, and at the 4th attempt he succeeded. I mean, one would have thought that this man really had something burning in his heart to do for this country. And today, what are we seeing? It's a big shame. I am ashamed of the Buhari administration.
All right, that we got your thoughts there. But I mean, I think let's understand the context of the conversation here, whether it's impeachable or not, if absence is a ground with which to impeach, and whether you think that, impeaching a president is an easy feat here in Nigeria. This is it, okay? So let's not get carried away. 08109510951. Hello, today 95.1.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm Nobu from Elias.
Go ahead.
Annie, let me talk about what governor, the hospital he built, they want to build in Ikwele. About the person that's saying whether is it Ikwele state or whatever. I remember when our president is doing his appointment, the appointment based in North. I know what he said in a station there.
Is it valid then? Is it valid? That's the question.
He defended it. He defended it that as far as the people is not, is it not Nigeria? So my question now, is it not River State? So, the issue is that when things is going bad, open up, whether it's it from this party or whatever, but say it and stand by it.
Okay, so what's your position? What's your position?
My position is that governors are supposed to open other states, develop other states, other part of the state, no, not other states, I mean. Then on our president, whether is it absent president, absolutely, is absent. When was the last time we saw the president we voted for? When was the last time we saw the president that went to all 36 states of Nigeria to campaign? So what he cares is just how to be in power. When we vote him, he can go back to sleep. Even people died, he doesn't care about it. He can't even come out to consult the family that died. Then the president will come out and
we got your thoughts then, Noble. Noble, thank you very much. I'm trying to see if I can just take as many calls as possible. If I can't reach you through the calls, please don't forget to send text messages or go on our Facebook page and Twitter handle to reply to any of the issues. Hello, today 95.1 FM.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Peter from Yenagoa, Biafra State.
Peter from Yenagoa, go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about two things. One, president should be impeached without no waste of time. Because it's not doing, we are not seeing him, he's not doing any. People are dying every day, hungry everywhere. And secondly, the River State government is just doing a Kore agenda. This hospital I wanted to build is a very good thing. That's why you take it to Golden, Ahoda, Eche, and so on and so forth. Why everything, my bridges in Preland? What the other people that voted for him? It's all this that is not good. Thank you.
All right, got your thoughts there. 08109510951 or 081700000951. Hello? Hello? I can't hear you, please. You've got to speak up.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Chibukaman. I'm calling
from
Rupoku.
From Rupoku. Go ahead.
Yes, so,
please speak up. Speak up.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Hello?
Go ahead.
I said they're supposed to be happy because they have somebody like Wike, because the man is trying. What the other governor that don't do anything? Nobody would disturb it, just like I just said. He has been that flavor for over 6 years now. Anybody who
A gift. Good morning.
Good morning, Odaima.
Good morning, Gift.
Yes, good morning to Dr. Emmanuel and Barrister Precious.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I mean, let me talk about Governor Wike. As a riverine man, I don't believe in all those things. Like what Dr. Emmanuel said concerning Port Harcourt, the state capital, of the truth, the bigger or the larger part does not belong to the Ikwere people. That is the truth. Nobody will dispute that. Nobody should even deceive himself or herself. People are using Obiakpo as Port Harcourt because of the development that is happening in Obiakpo. So if you watch, it's all about the Okrekas. So that is why from day one, when Wike was talking about this is the state capital, even when our people were complaining, I told them as an Nigerian man, Why are you complaining? The state capital does not belong to the Ikwere people. And this man is not focusing on whether Ikwere or Kreka or Kalabari. And they are not even talking about the opening up of other areas. What about the Trans-Kalabari road that the man is doing? Then from the state capital, he talked about a particular road that will go to Eleme from the state capital directly for you to bypass or boycott anything that will lead from these other houses to Ogoni. So to me, this man is trying his possible best. It is all about political differences. When somebody does not like your party and your face, whether you do heaven and earth, they will complain from now till tomorrow. That is the truth. So to me...
So is that what's happening to the president at the center now? Is it that he's trying his possible best, but because people who are complaining are from the opposition? Is that what you're saying?
In terms of that one too, there are some persons that will not see anything good because of political differences from Mr. President. That is the truth. Whether you like it or not, Annie, that is what is playing out. But for today, with the way they talked about military general, remember the way they came in, military general, once this man comes in, that is everything concerning anything insecurity will disappear. In fact, they give 5 minutes, if you remember, 6 months, that they will clear Boko Haram, talk less of bandits. Bandits is not even up to Boko Haram now. That is the worst in terms of anything insecurity. But you've not put that one in place. So what is happening now? To me, all these things that are happening in this country, it is because of the absence of Mr. President. Today, you have made my day. Let me just end here because you tried and tackle Dr. Emmanuel to my own satisfaction. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, good Christ. I think you should see I and Dr. Emmanuel here in the studio. Literally inching closer and closer to each other. All right, then. Let's quickly get to other calls now so we can wrap up and leave the studio. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Annie.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Alex on the line.
Alex, where are you calling from?
From Joe.
From Joe. Go ahead.
Annie, number one, call it appreciation. Call it thank you. All those things into somebody that does something good to you. So whether the people in the video say thank you to...
No, there's a huge difference to that. There's a huge difference for you comment and you say thank you. There's a huge difference.
Annie, you are a Christian.
Oh, please, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. There are two differences between you comment somebody and you say thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Is it Muslims that don't know that?
Now, come back to what you're saying. One young boy that sing the highlight music in Niger State. Ogema is here to interpret. I don't know how to interpret it in English. The voice, image joke and Iruani, Ndekwe na Ndekwe. And I have seen it today. And I hear it today. The man in the studio there that stopped this program is what of Ndekwe Ndekwe. And that is the problem of Nigeria. And ordinary, what did they call it? They send that woman in Mama who used to put food for it. From 600 naira to 2005, 2006. And somebody in the studio supporting APC. Pure water. From 10 naira to 20 naira. And somebody is here supporting Buhari. In Calabar, when he went to this that they would do.
No, it's by the task force of the Wait. All right, thank you. Manuel, you're trying to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, you see, the pure water angle, that's sachet water. They said is the problem, it's censored problem from the task force of Rivers State.
That people don't know.
Yes.
So don't attach that to something that has no business being on it. All right. Thank you very much. And I think I'm just going to move on to Twitter in just a moment. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne. All the guests in the studio.
Morning. What's your name?
My name is Teddy.
Go ahead.
Please, I find it difficult to believe that someone will write this kind of thing, that the president cannot be impeached. I begin to believe that our elders are showing the youth a wrong line to follow. A president who is not performing very well is supposed to be impeached. So many things have happened in this country that President Buhari is supposed to be impeached before now. if they refuse to show us a pattern to follow, it means that the future president can also do as he likes, and nobody will impeach him, because the one that did was the present one was not impeached. So there's no point in impeaching him. So I see every reason that the Senate, who is here, who is representing the masses, have to do something necessary, which is by calling the president to order. Now, if they seek impeachment on the president, it will tell the next president coming that you have to develop this country, you have to sit up. But where they fail to do this, it means that they have set a wrong standard. So President Buhari watching people dying, and it's not saying anything. People are killed every day.
Yeah, but you've got his spokespersons speaking. You have Garba Shehu, you have Femi Adesina, you've got Lai Mohammed, you have representatives of government, you have even the chiefs of services who have been speaking.
Oh, so it is in this present dispensation we have the presidency. So the presidency will be speaking. Why the person who elected as the president of Nigeria will be sleeping, lying down? Why did he contest since he has presidency? He would have used the presidency to contest the election. He wouldn't have come up to tell Nigeria what he would do. That dollar will be reduced. Fuel is increased. Fuel will be reduced. Look at what he said, so many things that on record.
Okay, then. All right, we got your thoughts then.
So he should be impeached immediately.
All right, then he said he should be impeached immediately. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Anila.
Hello, Sam from Warji. Good to have you. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Chief Mbuku and the guests in the studio. Annie, each time you bring two of your guests in the studio, you always make my day. Dr. Iwunoma and Chief Professor Emi Siaga. Yes, these men, I love them so much. Annie, you see, sincerely looking at this, our lawmakers, whereby when they want to share money, they will be doing things like secret society. There will be no division among them. But when it comes to things that have to do with the interests of the nation, you will see them begin to play politics, whereby somebody will just stand up and say the president is absentee president. That is to tell you that these men, they don't even watch television, talk less of reading newspaper. If not, they would have seen the president, whereby he used to hold executive council meeting, whereby of recent he has been holding meeting with the service chief and somebody. You see, this Peking, the same Papa AK PDP, they will never repent from lying. And because people love lies now, they say the president is absent. Where is the president absent? Whereby we are seeing him. If they don't see the president, let them pay him a visit at Aso Villa, whether they will not see him. Because looking at what they are coming up on the floor to begin to feed the people with lies based on political sentiment, I think it is very, very, very wrong. And they should
all right, then. Go your thoughts.
Coming to weekend, you see, this is one of the things we like. This hospital now is a welcome development whereby he can create a revenue for the state and help the common people or those who are having a health challenge. But this 9 flyover or 8 flyover, I'm totally against it because that flyover will not bring 1 naira to Rivers. Rather, they are using it to siphon money whereby they are making their billions. But if they are making their billions, let them also do things that will be generating revenue for the state rather than to be generating money in their
Thank you
pocket.
very much. Got your thoughts there. Let me just quickly see if I'll take this last call, then we move on to Twitter. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, I lost that connection. Let me get on to Twitter. And this is from KN NASA. And you said the rise in insecurity in Rivers State today is as a result of the disenfranchisement of majority of Rivers people who are mainly farmers, whose children can't afford an education. There's no human capacity building in Rivers State. Wike is empowering flyover grads. And then Info Empire, you said ethnicity, selfish aspirations, loyalty to party lines, and nepotism will always ensure impeaching a president in Nigeria remains practically impossible. This, unfortunately, is the state of the nation, and there's no way forward in this circumstance. And then Raphael Edokwe, you said getting to third majority votes for the impeachment of Buhari would mean that Nigerian lawmakers' brains have started budding sense. Buhari's only reward will be impeachment, impeachment, and impeachment. Raphael, you sent that in. I think that, it will be quite unfair to say that they do not have brains there, because someone who doesn't have brain will be unable to move or communicate. You know what a vegetable is like? And that's not what we have in the National Assembly. That would be completely wrong for you to say, Raphael. But I think that if you think that there is a disconnection with the laws they propagate and the actions they take there from the people, you might be right. And then this is where I have a problem. The people who come from the constituencies that these people represent, how much pressure are you putting on your rep? And if you say you can't reach them, well, find a way to reach them. You owe yourself better governance. And if that is not coming from the people that you have voted in or they have voted in to represent you, get your pound of flesh. Make sure that they represent you in a manner that you'll be satisfied. Newton says, what I learn each time I listen to Dr. Emmanuel Irainama, it's not an easy task defending this Buhari-led administration, who, of course, is an absentee president. President Buhari seems to be present everywhere in obscurity. And then you also have Olushola James Taiwo says, good morning, my sister, an analyst in the studio, Cancer Treatment Center, highly commendable and well appreciated. Ninth floor flyover, Governor Wike, please think of alternative roads or routes instead of flyover here and there. Expand the city center. Port Harcourt should be touching all the neighboring local government areas by now. Raphael Adoki says Buhari stopped students' meal tickets in the 80s. Today, his incompetence has stopped all Nigerian meal tickets. Watching Citizens Live snuffed shows he wants to make it a hall of fame of the most heartless world leaders. And you also said the Cancer Center project is commendable. However, citing it in Port Harcourt is an injustice to other rivers regions. Decongesting Port Harcourt should mean using billions of naira for flyovers to build economic projects in Bori, Sakpenwa, Omoko, Ahoda, and Buguma. And then we also have Jefferson, who says, for the Cancer Treatment Center, a welcome development. I pray the cost of the treatment be fair so average citizens can benefit from it immensely. Well, 25.9 billion is going down that project. It won't come very cheap, really. Info Empire at Choosy O2, you said the shouting guests will literally light the studio with fire, if not curtailed. Don't worry, we have fire extinguisher. He says, you don't pass the point by lording over your opinion on others. Fact is, the country situation is a total mess, created by incompetent leadership and worse, still hypocritical alignments of political sentiments. Ogochukwu Monday, he says, Annie, I'm always glad and enthusiastic about your programs because wisdom and solutions are preferred to matters of the polity. Please, I beg you to forever resist the temptation of bringing in highly partisan-minded people into the studio. Me, I no go consume. And, well, we hope we all won't consume, but you see, we must do our parts to ensure that we all don't get consumed. That's the truth. New Tinikere says, why presidential impeachment is a taboo in Nigeria? This is Buhari boasting that Boko Haram is nothing way back. He posted a video alongside that. He says now he's begging, appealing to terrorists to release kidnapped Nigerians. You can win an election by propaganda, but you can't govern by propaganda. He says that's a quote by Gedge. And Jefferson says the only thing he, Dr. Irainama, does that makes me like him is making the opinion pool lively by hitting the pool with high voice arguments, which he too knows is lying because of party loyalty. Newton Ikere says Boko Haram attack plot. Okay, that's from the papers, but I'll just take that before we go. Boko Haram plot attack on National Assembly. VIP locations cause a scare. The rich also cry. The hen comes home to roost. Morals, it rains everywhere. And it's blood, not water, that flows in our veins. Everybody dies. State of the Nation, Southern governors reconvene, rail against Nigeria's disintegration. He said, of course, it will tantamount to treasonable felony to speak ill of the oath they swore to. But deep down within, they know this union is no more working. Web of deception, he calls it. This is where we have to wrap up, really. I appreciate everybody else who was able to get through to us, but this is me saying time up. Precious UDK, let's get to you.
Well, on a final note, I would just want to plead with the 36 state governors to immediately begin the implementation of financial autonomy for the judiciary. We can't afford to have our courts locked for this long a time. The time is now. Let them act. Thank you.
All right, then, got your thoughts there. Precious UDK Esquire is a Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner and publicity secretary, Nigerian Bar Association, Port Harcourt branch. Dr. Emmanuel Iranema.
National problem is no single person's problem. There can be leaders without followers. We must all come out and see our national problem as our own problem and do our bit to resolving it. This is not time for blame games.
And that's where we wrap up on the show. Dr. Emmanuel Iranema, chartered arbitrator, mediator, management consultant, and socio-economic commentator. Thank you so much for coming in. Emmanuel Ndukwe?
Well, the Rivers State government have done well in building that cancer center and all that. However, wanting to build, yes, that cancer center, of course, it's not built yet. Now, let them please make sure that it's built. No matter the class they will style it to be, let them build it that way, because Nigeria and, of course, Rivers State will be beneficiaries.
And that's it. This is where we wrap up. Thank you very much for patiently being with us all the way from 8 o'clock. Coming up is the world news, and at 12:30, you can be sure Entertainment Express will be here, where Dave will come to bring you all the explosive stories in the entertainment scene that he was supposed to have shared at 11:30. The rest of you remain sweet and nice. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Wake up. It's a lovely day out there.
You've been listening to Today's Quest here on Today 95.1.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Join us next time, weekdays from 6 to 11 a.m. on Today 95.1.
When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Good afternoon, this is the World News on our Premium Talk Radio Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. I am Wisdom Obina. The headlines. Rivers State government approves construction of 9th flyover at Rume-Precom in Obiakpo local government area. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo calls on federal government to develop means to deal with kidnappers rather than ransom payments. General Overseer of Redeemed Christian Church of God worldwide, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, loses his first son. On the foreign scene, India says double mutant variants of coronavirus first discovered there in March may be linked to deadly second wave. Now, the details. Rivers State government has approved contract for the construction of Sir Dr. Peter Odili Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center at the cost of 25.9 billion naira. The Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center, which will be sited at Rumuokuta in Obiakpo local government area, is expected to be completed within 14 months. Rivers State Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Chike, while briefing newsmen after the Rivers State Executive Council meeting, presided over by Governor Nyesom Wike, explained that the Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is to be built, constructed and furnished by Julius Berger Nigeria Limited.
Rivers State Executive Council, headed and chaired by His Excellency Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, approved the contract award for the construction of Sir Dr. Peter Odili Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center to be sited at Rumuokuta in Obiakpo local government area. This Cancer and Cardiovascular Diagnostic and Treatment Center is to be built and constructed as well as furnished by Julius Lagos Beja Nigeria Limited, and it will take 14 months to completion. Some of the things that we provided in this cancer and cardiovascular center include modern modular theaters, as well as the necessary state-of-the-art medical equipment for the necessary cancer and other neoplasias that will be managed in this part of the world.
Similarly, the State Commissioner for Works, Elokataski Amadi, said his ministry had proposed and received approvals from the State Executive Council for the construction of a 9th flyover at Rume-Precom, dualization of the first phase of the Ahoda-Omok Road, as well as internal roads in Omerelu. He said the construction of the 9th flyover at Rume-Precom is necessitated by increasing vehicular activities and traffic jams at some entry points in Port Harcourt, stating that the flyover will be completed in 12 months at the cost of 6.6 billion naira and would be funded by the deduction of 400 million naira monthly from the state's internally generated revenue.
At the meeting of the Executive Council of River State, the Minister of Works proposed and received approval of 3 projects. Number 1 is the construction of a flyover at Rume-Precom. This flyover is necessitated by increased vehicle activity and constant hold-ups at some entry points in Port Harcourt. The project, which will be awarded to Julius Berger, will be constructed in 12 months and will cost 6.6 billion. It will be funded by deductions of 500 million every month from the state's internally generated revenue. The second project, which received approval today and which will also be awarded to Julius Berger, is the dualization of the first phase of Ahoda-Omok Road. This first phase will take us up to Udioku Junction, and the project is a 15.2 meter wide dual carriageway with drains and street lights and will cost 9.5 billion. We expect to complete this project in 10 months.
Division within the labor movement in Nigeria has been blamed on outcomes of elections in labor organizations. The chairman of the River State Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Beatrice Tubo, who made the observation, said the disagreement over the outcome elective congresses of the NLC in 2015 led to the initial division within the ranks of labor leaders, prompting the formation the United Labour Congress, which has collapsed into the NLC. Itubo, in an interview with our correspondent Chinedu Iwuna, however, advised labor leaders to develop a mindset of accepting the outcome of elective Congress. She was reacting to the series of factions that exist today in some labor unions affiliated to the NLC.
The truth is that in every sphere, even in the political climate, find out that when elections come, there are people that may not be satisfied with the conduct of the elections. At the end of the day, there is a tendency that people want to break away. Some want to go to court for litigations and all that. So the labor movement is not also immune to that. So you know, one thing with labor, there's a way this information flows. When your national says this is what you will do, you at the state, you don't have any option than to key in. And so most of the things transpired at the national level, but it now drifted down to the state because we are all belong to a national union. And so wherever your national union belongs, that's where you will also be. There is give and take. One thing I will always advise people, if you must be a labor leader is not all about butter and bread, because of course it is not always, it's a movement laden with struggles. And so if it's a movement laden with, there is no need for this fighting. If the essence is to fight for the welfare of workers, and all of us know that we're on the hot spot. So I don't see anything that is so big that will make people to deal with. It is a do or die affair. If you didn't win, then the system must scatter. No, if you didn't win today, tomorrow you might win.
Community leaders in Igrutali in Ikwere local government area of River State are making efforts to avert a possible protest being planned by members of Omodoma and Alimini communities. The members of the community said they are angry over the lack of drainage system in the community, even as construction of roads is ongoing in the area. A member of the community, Matthew Nwankwo, who spoke on behalf of his people, said while the drainage system is being constructed for other communities, the Igrutali section is neglected. Nwankwo, who is the former Secretary General of the Movement for the Liberation of Ikwere People, however, appealed to the youths to rescind their decision to stage a protest, assuring that efforts are on the reach out to the state government. Efforts are on, to reach out to the state government over the issues.
State government is constructing a road work in our place, and we see that some are favored by giving drainage, while we are not favored of giving drainage. Omodoma community and the Alimini community that are not favored by the drainage system. And all efforts have been made to reach River State government. Up till now, no answer. To plead with the River State government to come to our aid, and also tell the community not to protest on the 13th of May we are going to put efforts now to reach the River State government. Why we don't want them to protest is because of the situation of the state now, so that people who lost will not hijack the protests. DSS is aware about this matter too since last year to date.
Some leaders in Niger Delta region have warned those threatening to shut down the region over the delay in the constitution of the board of Niger Delta Development Commission to desist from such calls. You would recall that the Ijaw Youth Council had threatened to shut down economic activities in the Niger Delta region should President Muhammadu Buhari fail to constitute the NDDC board within 30 days. But the Niger Delta leaders urged them to be patient and wait for the outcome of the forensic audit of the commission. The leader of the Niger Delta Progressive Leaders Council, Ike Daniel, cautioned politicians against sponsoring various groups to cause problems in the already tense region, urging that attention should be focused on the sole administrator of the NDDC to prioritize human capital development and skill acquisition for the youths.
The Niger Delta Progressive Leaders Council calls on those stakeholders and groups who gave the federal government meeting to withdraw such threat, as it is not in the best interest of the Niger Delta people. The people of the Niger Delta deserves better. We call on them to support the sole administrator, Mr. Effiong Akwa, that is appointed by Mr. President to deliver on the core mandate given to him. The council calls for calm on the part of those desperate stakeholders calling for anarchy in the region. The council calls on the sole administrator to prioritize human capital development, as this will equip the youth of the region with the relevant skills to survive on their own. The council cautions those demarketing the Niger Delta region by using as an example to what is happening in the northern part of the country, Nigeria.
There is the need for a shift from overdependence on professional disciplines and crude oil to other vibrant careers in the Niger Delta region. This is the observation of the organizers of the South Media Week, who briefed newsmen in Port Harcourt. The team leader of this year's South Media Week, Tammy Halliday, during the briefing said parts of the issues to be discussed during the Media Week are insight and inspiration to help people and businesses understand how to achieve more in an ever-increasing digital world.
The Niger Delta is a sub-region, 9 states, the population of about 31 million people of more than 40 ethnic groups. The region has the highest deposit of mineral resources in Nigeria, although over the time, the media has entangled our image in conflicts, political violence, and undulating leaders, which we believe isn't the true reflection of the people, places, and opportunities found in this area. We regularly don't get to hear about the Niger Delta of opportunities. We regularly don't get to hear about the Niger Delta where people are looking for partnerships and collaborators to take charge of their futures and destiny. The fact is, young people are now taking advantage of the technological advancements happening all over the world, with over 50,000 professional skills on offer. And digital marketing being the most sought after, there's bound to be a shift from the overdependence on professional essential disciplines as well as crude oil to other vibrant career paths.
The federal government has approved about 6.2 billion naira for the award of contracts for 6 projects in the power sector. The Minister of Power, Maman Saleh, disclosed this to State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He briefed newsmen at the end of the 44th virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. At the meeting, efforts by the government to boost power supply in the country dominated discussions, as the council approved all 6 memos presented for consideration by Saleh. The Power Minister said the project were geared towards upgrading the transmission system to the national grid for greater efficiency and to ensure sufficient power supply to the nation in no distant time. He also noted that the first phase of the distribution of 1 million meters was close to completion. The Nigerian Communications Commission and the Nigerian Communications Satellite have signed a memorandum of understanding to facilitate the deployment of 5G technology in the nation's telecommunications sector. Both agencies signed the agreement on the use of C-band spectrum for 5G services in Nigeria at an event held in Abuja. In his remarks, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners at the NCC, Professor Adeolu Akonde, noted that in recent times, precisely from the last quarter of 2019, several administrations have begun to license spectrum for commercial deployment of 5G. He stated that 5G services have already been deployed in the United States and South Korea, among many more countries in the world. According to him, 5G does not only offer enhanced broadband and ultra-reliable latency communications, but also provides massive machine-type communications where a lot of devices will seamlessly connect and independently interact with the internet without human intervention. President Muhammadu Buhari has welcomed the release of the abducted students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in Afaka, Kaduna State. The president, in a statement issued by his spokesman, Garba Shehu, called for the release of the kidnapped students of Greenfield University and other people in captivity. Gunmen had in the early hours of March 11th, 2021, stormed the school and whisked away 39 students, releasing 10 in 2 batches of 5 each, before releasing the last batch of 29 55 days after. Chairman of the Parents Committee, Abdullahi Usman, had confirmed the release of the students by bandits to amuse men, although he didn't state if any ransom was paid to secure the students' freedom. President Buhari called for steadfastness and security awareness on the part of citizens and the law enforcement agencies and deplores the increasing politicization of security in the country by opportunistic politicians. You are listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Please stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Welcome back. You're still listening to the World News on a premium news talk and sports radio station Today 95.1 FM. It's 14 minutes gone past the hour of 12. Thanks for staying tuned. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called on the federal government to develop means to deal with kidnappers and bandits in place of the payment of ransom. Obasanjo also has stressed the need for leaders to ensure the 2023 birth emergence of a new federation in the nation, warning that the country may slide into what he described as ground dissolution. The other statesman made the recommendation when he received members of the chief professional group led by Professor Zacharias Gundu at his residence within the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The former president, who condemned the security challenges in the country, insisted that 2023 must mark a watershed for Nigeria. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says security agencies are compiling a comprehensive report to reveal the sponsors of violence in the state. Uzodinma made the revelation when he featured as a guest on a television program where he highlighted the government's effort at restoring peace in Imo. The governor was reacting to the attacks on security facilities in the state, including the incidents at the custodial center and police headquarters in Owerri, the state capital. According to him, Nigeria is a federation and people can see the trend of crime and violence in various parts of the country. Governor Uzodinma insisted that the present security challenges in Imo and some other states were being sponsored by those resolved on bringing down the All Progressives Congress-led federal government. The son of Pastor Enoch Adeboye, Dare Adeboye, is dead. It was gathered that the 42-year-old son of the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God Worldwide died in his sleep in Eket, Akwa Ibom State, where he was based with his family. Sources in the church said that the deceased had ministered the previous day. He was said to have retired to his bed and did not wake up. His wife, Temilo Lua, was said to have raised the alarm. The head of media and public relations, RCCG, Pastor Olaiton Olubi, however, confirmed the tragedy. Dare would have been 43 years old next month and was the first child of Pastor Adeboye. On the foreign scene, the U.S. Secretary of State has told the BBC that the U.S. will respond to reckless or aggressive acts by Russia. Anthony Blinken said the U.S. was focused on actions such as the treatment of opposition figure Alexei Navalny, the SolarWinds hack, and election interference. Blinken was in the UK for a meeting of foreign ministers of the G7 group of industrialized nations. Elsewhere, India has said a double mutant variant of the coronavirus first discovered there in March may be linked to a deadly second wave. Samples containing the mutant variant have been found in several states with high case numbers. An official with the National Center for Disease Control said, however, that they had still been unable to fully establish a correlation. Meanwhile, India reported a record 412,000 cases in the space of 24 hours and 3,980 deaths. The government's top scientific advisor also warned a third wave is inevitable. To end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. The Rivers State government has approved the construction of the 9th flyover at Rume-Precom in Obiakpo local government area of the state. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called on the federal government to develop means to deal with kidnappers rather than ransom payment. You heard that the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God worldwide, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, has lost his first son to the cold hands of death. And on the foreign scene, we told you that India has said that the double mutant variant of coronavirus first discovered there in March may be linked to the deadly second wave. That was the news as edited by Ifunaya Ubemendukwe. For comments and inquiries, please call 0818-389-2850 or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. I am Wisdom Obina. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio.